Well, either way, we had such an amazing time on that show. I was so honored to be a part of it, and you guys were so gracious to accept me onto that. I know, it's never easy to kind of jump into a family and, who is this guy? And you guys were awesome,
what was the temperature on the set when this guy strode on?
The funny thing is, as in most things with networks,
hated him.
yeah, no one told us.
Yeah.
No one told us.
Shut up.
No.
Wow.
No. We never got hey, Matt Lawrence is
No
joining
way.
your cast. No, of course not.
Are you showed up at the table read and you guys were like, what the hell?
Maybe
Oh my God!
week
Then you guys
before.
really did hate him.
Maybe a week before, but it wasn't like,
That's
hey
such a
guys,
curveball.
here's what we've been thinking. No, we'd show up and our little sister be gone. We'd show up and then there was another little sister playing the part. We'd show up and Tony Quinn wasn't on the show anymore. We'd show up and now Matt Lawrence was there. Nobody told us anything.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
We were not involved. But you were obviously established. We knew it wasn't like, I wonder if this guy's going to be able to carry the load. We knew where it was going. We knew you had, fans. Obviously, we knew you were coming from a great pedigree with your family. And so it was, I mean, when you've got the Lawrences and the Savages, essentially you've got the young Hollywood sewn up on one set. What happened to the little guy?
He has a scratched eye.
Oh no! Don't we all?
He always does this.
You got a scratched eye too?
No, I have keratoconus. Since I was 8 years old.
Keratoconus.
My cornea on this side is shaped like a cone instead of concave. So since I was 8, I have to wear one glass contact lens to hold my cornea in place.
Yep.
That's why this eye's I always look stoned on this half of my body.
Otherwise, what happens? It falls out?
No. It's just that
Look at this.
it's 2040, 2060 with the contact lens in, and like 2900 with it out.
Yeah.
So you
disappear.
You have a
If
glass
I went like
eye.
that, you'd disappear.
Yeah.
No, it's just a hard contact lens.
You have literally a glass eye.
That's
what
all
they
of
give
my
me.
eyes.
They give me such shit on pod for that. Like, hey, Will has a glass eye. I'm like, do not.
Look at me in this eye.
Look over here. Please.
It's like, are we recording, by the way? It's like Paul Giamatti in
Holdovers. Yeah. It's this one. It's this one. He's so good.
Guys, it's Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome
We're
to Brother
here
Love
on the Brother Love
Pod.
Pod, and we have a freaking awesome guest on today. Will Friedle, my buddy,
Hey.
Boy Meets World alum. Welcome,
Hey,
man.
thanks for having me. I thought you said a freaking awesome guest. I was like, who's coming after?
Yeah. Yes. The lineup's incredible. It hasn't started yet, though.
Showing up next.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm really happy you're here, man. I always say that outside of these two guys, I've never had a better time with any actor ever working on set. I bonded with you instantly.
Yeah.
Your comedy is freaking awesome. I loved being the straight guy to your craziness. I would do it any day of the week, dude.
Yeah, I was
We had a
happy when
blast.
they put us together.
Dude, it was
I really
awesome.
was. And then we went and they obviously saw something because then they went and put us in a movie. And
I
so
know,
it was,
dude.
Yeah, it was they liked the two of us together. It worked. It was
cool,
you were a
man.
great straight man, and then the nuts that I was, and it
Dude.
just it worked.
It worked.
Did. Yeah.
It was so great. In fact, there was a lot of talk of even a spinoff after
Yeah.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
And it got caught up, I think.
What
in the
happened?
Well, I think
why didn't they do that?
Well,
That's
I
so
think
dumb.
From what
So
I don't know. Let's see
stupid.
if our stories align. From what I heard was that Disney and the creator of the show kind of didn't have the same idea, or maybe they wanted to take it in a different direction.
Maybe.
And he wasn't as keen on it, and so that battle is kind of what made it just sort of
Fizzle
go
out.
away.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
That
anyway.
could absolutely be it. I mean, again, it's Michael Jacobs coming off of Boy Meets World was one of the biggest creator, especially for family sitcom, was one of the biggest showrunners ever.
Yep.
And he had a strong personality, and
Very,
some
yep.
people didn't like to work with him, and so I don't know if that affected the network, but nobody could say anything about his results. I mean, the man was a genius when it came to family
Incredible,
TV.
man. Yeah.
So, had we had that opportunity, I think it would have been a ton. And we could have done anything with it, and we moved to New York. I mean, whatever you want to do.
I know, man.
Could have been
Meet
the
new
Odd Couple,
friends.
essentially.
Yeah.
You
I
could've-
know.
You could have put the Odd Couple in any scenario as a young modern retelling of that
Yep.
without calling it the Odd Couple. It would have been a heck of a lot better than the Odd Couple they tried to do with Perry and the other guy. That was not a good
with Thomas Lennon.
Yeah,
from Reno 911.
Yeah, which honestly it should have been great. It just
'cause
wasn't
he's
great.
a genius.
He is.
Yeah, they both are.
And Perry was great, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't great. But,
No, yeah.
But that would have been, I think, really smart.
Also, God, think about that. It's the Odd Couple, but for
Yes.
younger people.
Dude.
That
That
I'm
would've
not
been
sure
it.
that's ever really been done.
It's
I mean,
never been
Kenan
done.
and Kel kind of had that
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
they
kind
did,
of that
but-
dynamic a bit. For
But I
sure.
think
That's a
theirs
good
was
call.
goofier.
Right,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
yours would have been grounded and much more like Ryan Reynolds'
I think
space.
so, too.
That
Could've been
edgy, grounded shit, which I personally think would have been really
and here's
smart.
the thing. I think, and again, but I think that's what was going on is that Disney was like, no, Michael, you're great at the family stuff. We want to take it in a more edgy direction. But he could have handled it. It's just, I think that's where they really butted heads.
I think our show, the thing that we heard was that we were going to go in 8th season if Sabrina was picked up. And Sabrina then was picked up, but then they jumped ship and went to another network.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Right. So that also...
that TGIF essentially fizzled out because Sabrina left, and then so they canceled Boy, but had Sabrina stayed. So again, as you know, it's usually Melissa's fault.
Yeah, usually.
Of course
when anything happens,
Melissa's fault.
you blame Melissa.
Of course it is.
Talked to her last week. She says hello.
Yeah,
she's
no,
like
it is
Canada.
Yeah.
We
Blame
all do.
Melissa. Blame Melissa.
But so that, I mean, we heard that same thing.
Yeah,
so,
dude. Yeah, that's all wrapped up in there.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we had such an amazing time on that show. I was so honored to be a part of it, and you guys were so gracious to accept me onto that. I know, it's never easy to kind of jump into a family and, who is this guy? And you guys were awesome,
what was the
man.
temperature on the set when this guy strolled on?
The funny thing is, as in most things with networks,
hated him.
yeah, no one
Day
told
one,
us.
yeah.
No one told us.
Shut up.
No. We never got we Matt Lawrence is
No
joining
way.
your cast. No, of course
Oh,
not.
you showed up at the table reading. You guys were like, what the hell?
Maybe
Oh my
a
God!
week
Then you guys
before.
really did hate him.
Maybe a week before, but it wasn't like,
That's
hey
such a
guys,
curveball.
here's what we've been thinking. No, we'd show up and our little sister be gone. We'd show up and then there was another little sister playing the part. We'd show up and Tony Quinn wasn't on the show anymore. We'd show up and now Matt Lawrence was there. Nobody told us anything.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
We were not involved. But you were obviously established. We knew it wasn't like, I wonder if this guy's going to be able to carry the load. We knew where it was going. We knew you had, fans. Obviously, we knew you were coming from a great pedigree with your family. And so it was, I mean, when you've got the Lawrences and the Savages, essentially you've got the young Hollywood sewn up on one set. But you also came right in, worked. I mean, we all did the work. That was the thing.
We were all
about our
very
show.
hard
So,
workers.
we talk about Michael. Michael was notorious for his note sessions, and they were brutal, but they made you better. I mean, at the end of the day,
He was a good coach.
He was
not always likable, but a good coach. And good coaches are not always likable.
Right.
I think there's a real misnomer. I see this a lot in sports today, especially in the NBA and stuff, where a lot of these coaches are like pals.
Yeah.
They sit. I mean, we can talk timely because, but like I'm seeing, not to digress, but what's going on in Milwaukee right now, right? They had a coach 30-13. Players didn't like him, fired, brought in Doc Rivers. They fired the Milwaukee Bucks coach. Now, there's a lot of debate going on. The chemistry wasn't right, but internally, and I'm a big sports guy, what they're saying is that they just didn't like him. Yeah. They didn't like the coach. And, the stars of the team spoke out and went to management and they got rid of him. They brought Doc Rivers in as a player consultant. Didn't tell anybody, speaking of like Matt Lawrence showing up. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, thanks a lot for the championship and for the 30-13 record. Second in the East behind Boston. You're fired. We're bringing in Doc Rivers. Oh, the guy that's consulting. It's like wild. Yeah. So to your point,
it's true.
You're not always, I've worked with some guys like that too. Yeah. I mean, even growing up on Give Me a Break and stuff. Like when I was a little kid, you didn't deliver a line, it was cut.
Yeah.
You didn't nail a scene, you're out of it.
Well, you were 5. You should have had your shit down by that point.
You should have. But you know what? It was tough, but the training made
labor
you better.
laws were different in the late 70s and 80s.
It does. It makes you better.
And you didn't like those notes. You're like, oh my God, how many notes he's got? But damn it, he was right.
The thing, the way I knew I had grown as an actor, and this is kind of a horrible thing to say, but it's true. And in a way, I think that's what he wanted, is when I kind of stopped listening to the notes. Right. When Ryder and Danielle, they always make fun of me because they'd call me okay, because I would hear something and I go, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Because I knew in my head I would just go, okay. And then I knew I was just going to do what I wanted to do. And I think Michael actually respected that.
Totally.
He's like, I don't want to have to give you these notes. So I'm going to wait for you guys to be like, yeah, okay. Okay. And then we kind of would go, and you and I would work through stuff together where it was like, okay, that's what they said, but hey, let's figure this out and see what we're going to do.
Yeah, how can we make it better? What can we do about this?
I'm a television fanatic, and my favorite show of all time is MASH. It's just, I live and breathe MASH.
Amazing.
And there's a great story where Alan Alda and Wayne Rogers would rehearse a scene that they'd already shot and aired because they watched it and thought they could do it better.
Wow.
So the episode had aired, they were like, no,
Really
let's
cool.
run that scene again. And they ran the scene again between the two of them because we were like, we missed 2 beats. We can get that. To me is what
I love
we
Alan
could have
Alda.
gotten.
Dude,
Totally,
I love
dude.
Alan
Yeah,
Alda, bro.
he's brilliant.
Oh
He's
my gosh.
an absolute genius.
He is.
And
dude.
bringing it back to this note session, I just want to tell this story because it was wild. I got a full dress down. The first
you took
full
your clothes off?
pretty much.
Basically, he might as
Wow.
well have. Might
That
as
guy
well
was a
have.
crazy
Might as
showrunner.
well have.
I was nude sitting there because I'm not kidding.
clothes.
The
What?
first major run through, the first major note session.
You felt nude?
In front of everybody. He said, I have 125 notes and 123 are for Matthew Lawrence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he
Michael didn't
proceeded
pull punches.
He proceeded to go through every single line of mine, every single
What?
beat. He told me where I was wrong. Now, here's the thing. I'll never forget it. I don't know if I let you guys know this, but I was mortified,
Of course.
pissed.
Yeah.
I went outside because my mom was very influential. She was the one who actually met with Michael before I ever met with Michael. They talked, and she was a big fan of this show. And she was like, Matt, you got to do this. And I was like, I want to go to school, Mom. Like, I want to be outdoors. I don't want.
Right.
She was like, this is going to be one of the biggest opportunities of your life. You have to do this. So honestly, it was my mom who really was influential and kind of talked me into it. And then he does this to me. So I'm out in the parking lot and I call my mom and I am ranting and raving about how I'm not coming back. I can't look at these people again. And she was like, Matt, take a deep breath. Just give it one more day. And I'll tell you, that was such an amazing advice because honestly, I was coming from talking about this. I was coming from this timing and from
Right.
a brotherly love
Sure.
timing. Boy Meets World was different. It was a different timing, a different cadence. Michael had a different style than our writers.
He hears it in
obviously.
his head, and it's how he wants it.
And by week 3, all I was thinking of was, wow, I'm so thankful he did that because if he hadn't and he kind of candy coated it, it would have taken me so much longer to get up to speed with you guys.
Sure.
I would have not been able to hit the beats. Maybe who knows what would have happened
Sure, then
with
you would have been.
and I.
you
I
would've
don't
been-
know.
Then you would have been fired, right?
Maybe.
Right,
probably.
exactly.
Well,
No, I mean,
maybe.
it's possible.
Maybe.
We just, as the rest of the cast, were happy Daddy was yelling at one of the other kids.
That's so funny.
It's horrible, but it's true. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what
I
it's
got
like.
it.
You're
Yeah,
like,
got it.
okay,
Perfect
they're
sense.
not. The spotlight's not on me. Okay, good.
I
The
get
new
it.
guy's getting it.
You guys
The
getting
new
it.
guy's
Exactly.
getting it. Yeah.
But
Get
no,
it.
you came in. I mean, I hate. What's not to like? I mean, you're a nice guy, but you didn't come in
I got
with
a few
an ego.
things.
Yeah, I got a list. Short list.
Brothers have a different thing.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
2 brothers myself, by the way,
Yeah,
so
that's
I know
right.
that's
exactly.
right. That's right. Wow.
The younger brother is the best, by the way, always.
Yeah.
How are your
Yeah.
brothers? They good?
My brothers are good. Yeah,
Good,
my
man.
brothers are good.
Good to
But the so I mean, you came in. You're just nice. You're nice. You're easy to work with. You do the work. I mean, what's not to like? So had you come in with some ego or I'm
Yeah,
Matt
I
Lawrence
get it.
and
I get
I'm walking on your set, it would have been a different thing. But it wasn't. You were like, hey, I'm happy to be here and.
I was
We
nervous,
were
man.
all about doing the work, and
Yeah,
we
for sure.
and again because we wanted to. After a while, you don't want Daddy to yell at you, so
sure.
you work as hard as you can to make sure that doesn't happen, and you just fit right in with us. There's also what you're going back to your coach analogy. When the coach is yelling at you all the time, the team bonds.
It does.
So you were on the
true.
team, and you joined us, and it was us against him,
That's
as
true.
opposed to us against each other.
That's
and good
very
coaches want that.
true.
They do. They want
want
you. Well, it's the. Have you? Mike Krzyzewski does the same thing where he says, if I go up and I hit you with my hand like this, it doesn't hurt that much. But if the team comes together and I hit you like this, you're gonna feel it. So it's all about the team coming together. It's forming the fist,
That's
and that's
awesome.
what
Very
we
cool.
did.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, our cast we were close. I mean,
We were,
really,
man.
we were very tight, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
all got along really well.
I remember
Heck yeah,
a couple of the show nights I'd come over after work and check out your live shows because, that was a medium that I've been doing for years at that point. And it was so much fun to see you guys doing your Backstreet Boys singing.
The
and
dancing,
dancing,
yeah.
singing.
man, we had
Remember that the live
I
audience come
remember
out and you
that.
guys would
Yeah.
do like, you are the fire.
Oh, yeah.
to do
And I
that in
remember-
front of you guys who could actually sing and
Oh
dance.
my God,
that
it was
was
so
great,
cool.
dude.
It was
It was
so
great.
friggin' cool.
That
I
was
used to
awesome.
enjoy that, just sitting back there listening. And the audience would eat it up, and you guys would have your
That's
little
good.
routine in between the scenes.
That's
and
right, man.
It was
We
great.
used
It was
to have
great.
a
It was
lot
great
of fun
times,
doing
man.
that.
We had fun.
It was really great times. The
And
kind of
you don't talk about the live audience again. Going back,
the best. Live
man.
audience, the best.
And the live audience on Boy Meets World, they were. I mean, oh man, was that
Yeah.
a great audience?
It's such a
every
rush.
week.
It's such a rush.
Wow.
It really is.
No,
Yeah.
when you have that kind of a ruckus audience, we had the same thing on Blossom, and you walk
Oh,
out and
yeah.
they're screaming and
Heck yeah.
it feels so good.
Yep.
It's like literally it's like what comics live off of. It's
Yep.
what politicians live off of when they have a big event.
Yep.
It's the same thing. It's
Yep.
it's the sports fans that are there that are cheering you on, man. When you got a great house,
Oh,
and
it's
they're
awesome.
eating every joke up, and they're wanting to laugh. So
Yeah.
you give them even the minute opportunity to, and they explode with laughter.
It's
Dude,
the
they're
best
just
thing in
it
the
gives
world.
you the energy.
It is. It's also they're a human tuning fork.
Absolutely.
So you can when you hit that note perfectly because they hit that and you're like, "Ooh, I hit it. I
it.
know exactly
Nailed
what I
it.
did. I hit it."
So
Yeah.
good,
It is
dude.
so much fun. Well, I loved seeing you when you came on the set. I was convinced that you hated me.
No.
I was.
Really?
I was convinced that you
I'm a very threatening figure,
hated
but
me.
you know.
No, but it was just like I just had the feeling. I was like, Joe doesn't like me. like Joe does
You work
not
with
like
my
me at all.
little brother?
Well, I didn't know if it was that, or I didn't know if it was because I dated Love right after you.
Oh, that's right. That's
whatever
right.
it was.
I remember
just
that.
figured that you
I-
did not like me.
I do remember that. I
you
do
know what
remember
I
that.
think? I think I was being reserved because at that point in time, everywhere I went, right, it was like a thing, right? So I think because it was Matt's set, I was trying to be really reserved. I was
that makes
trying
sense.
to because
You're
from the
trying
time
to
I
go
was,
unnoticed.
Well, no, but by the time I was 5
But
years
that
old,
mystery
you know,
added a
like,
level.
like I was trained to go out there and put on a show,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I came from that era, right?
Yeah.
Like I always say, it's like the Warner Brothers frog. Remember when like they lift up the hat? He's like, "Hello, my baby."
Yeah, yeah.
Like so every
Ready to
time,
go.
right?
Yeah.
So every time a door opened,
Yeah.
I was expected to perform, and I was expected to put on a show in a room, and I was really trying to be sensitive to Matt. Because
nice.
there was always this
Makes
brother
sense.
thing where, you know, I mean, obviously I was very famous, so Matt came into the fold, and then there was always pressure on him to sort of live up to that, and he wasn't the same personality as me.
No.
So it was a lot of pressure on him. He's talked about that a lot.
Right.
And he wasn't sure he even wanted to do it, and then certainly not do exactly what I was doing, and then we ended up in the same medium because he has the gift as well as Andy, and we could all do it. So it was. I think that I was trying to not make a spectacle out of myself.
That makes
actually.
sense. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
because
think
I was
that's more what it
convinced. I was
was.
like,
nah,
I get
Joe
such
hates me.
I get such a kick. You guys both dated Love. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, when we were
Awesome.
both
Little kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
remember,
kid.
I remember,
People always
yeah.
say to me like, "What is she like?" And I always say I have the same answer. I've never met the woman.
Yeah.
It's true. I knew the girl,
Well,
but I've
exactly.
never
Oh,
met
that's
the woman.
true.
No, you
That's
know what?
true.
You know
I
what?
guess
That's
that's
actually a
the
great
that's-
thing because yes, I mean
It's
it,
so
it
true.
wasn't even a thing.
No,
it
I
was
mean,
just like
it
we
was-
were kids.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
literally
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, it was that.
I gotta say, for me, she was badass because she gave me John Mayer's guitar.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Is that
she went
awesome?
on to
Cool.
then I think
She
John
dated
Mayer
Mayer
after
John
you
Mayer,
guys.
exactly.
and I can.
What
quite a few people.
What a string of men!
Yeah, I know.
right
Yeah,
here.
and it
Was
supposedly
a desirable woman.
So she was beautiful. I mean, she's beautiful. Yeah, but she was really cool because I mean, I didn't date her. I was like a little brother, right? So she was badass, and I play guitar, and she knew that, and she
Yeah.
was dating John. She like, and then
She
was
super
She was
sweet. Again,
really
I don't know her
nice.
as an adult. I've
Yeah.
never met her as an adult.
I mean, this is years. This is so long ago, but yeah,
as
yeah.
a young person.
Me
But
either.
you were also the first celebrity I ever saw in real life
Oh, really?
in LA.
Wow.
So walking into, and then it's a funny story, walking into the bathroom of Ed DeBevick's.
Oh my gosh.
Ed DeBevick.
You and I are the same age, so
We
we
are.
were 12.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
And I'm like, oh, there's Joey Lawrence. So you're like the first one I saw. I told that story on the pod, and there's an Ed DeBevick's in Chicago that filmed it.
still there?
It's still there. They recreated the scene
Wow.
with them as actors, like coming in, like I walk into the bathroom, you hear me voicing it, and then they're recreating it. And we actually all went to the Ed DeBevick's in Chicago and danced on the table with them and did all, because that was, remember when we were kids?
oh,
it was
Ed
shit.
DeBevick's was so
if
cool,
you had your
man.
party at Ed DeBevick's,
you were the
got an
coolest.
invite to a party at Ed DeBevick's. You're like,
Yes.
Ed DeBevick's.
It was
Yeah,
the best
baby.
thing in the world.
Oh, it was the greatest.
You
What
want
a
to
great
explain what that
place.
is, just for anybody that's
It was
not
a
aware?
50s cafe.
Yeah.
And everyone was on roller skates,
Yeah, it was
and they
fun.
would have and it wasn't a roller skating rink. It was they ride through the restaurant. They also had to be performers.
Yeah.
So in the middle of,
right.
they would break into song and dance, whether it was Grease or
Yep.
or Shaboom or all these 50s records.
So
And they
good.
were mean.
They were mean.
They'd be like,
Oh, that's
you're not,
right.
You're not eating all these fries.
That's
You don't
right.
need all these. And they'd
Yeah.
start eating your
That's
fries.
right.
And
Yes.
it was the greatest thing in the world.
It was so
No,
Could you
fabulous.
imagine that somebody doing that today in a restaurant?
Oh my God.
Like, I mean, you don't need all these
They're
fries.
still
I
doing
mean,
that. And the one
oh
in
my
Chicago,
God.
we walked
cool.
in, they're like, oh, it's the Boy Meets World crew
Oh my
here.
God.
Yeah.
No way,
It was like
dude.
that.
Is
They-
that the
this
only
is
one
great.
left?
Yeah, I think so.
wow.
Well, now
was
it's
so
just
much fun.
robots.
yeah,
They're
right.
going to be
Exactly.
taking over that
Right.
job.
It's the Jetsons.
Yes,
Yeah.
literally.
I know.
And
I
then
know.
we took our SATs together.
We did.
Yeah.
What? That's right. We did.
No way.
No.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yes,
Wait
we
a
did.
At
minute.
Harvard Westlake.
Harvard Westlake.
Wait a minute.
What? Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
We were there the same day.
Same day, like at the same,
Same desk.
And
I
how
think we-
distracting for the other students in that one.
There was a lot of
Wait,
distraction.
is that
Maybe is that why I got an 840? Yeah.
Wait a
Is that
minute.
what it
Joey
was? Was I
Lawrence?
distracted?
Is that Wilford? What the
That's
I know.
so
hell is
weird.
going on
And the
here?
whole thing, it was like this. It was so funny. I went in and sat down. I'll never forget. And I looked at you, and you looked at me, and we both went like this. We both went. and that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
it.
And then we got into A, B, or C.
Yep.
Wow,
Yeah,
I had
that's funny,
no
man.
idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really
Westlake.
random.
Yep.
What are the
Harvard Westlake.
chances?
That's right.
Went to take our SATs.
The
did,
same
brother.
day
Yeah,
on the
man.
same. Wow, that's
in the
really-
same room. In the
Same
same
room, like
a
literally
table
a
away.
desk
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
I wonder if they did that on purpose. I wonder if
so
they
yeah, right, right.
random.
just put these guys.
Oh man, it's so funny.
That was really
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
That's right.
very
man.
bizarre.
Crazy,
Very bizarre.
It's so crazy how quick time goes, man.
Oh,
it's so
isn't it?
crazy.
It's just, well, because in your mind, I'm still 18.
Dude, me
Me
too.
buddy.
Me too.
And I'm going, wait, I woke up and my arm hurts.
I know.
I know.
Like, what the
Do you get
hell
that?
just
Oh, yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
wake up and it hurts?
Because you
Sleep
slept on
wrong.
it.
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's bad. It's a shoulder thing.
You know, you ever hold a drink? I'll be holding a drink like this. If it's in this position for too long, you go to put it down, you're like,
It
what the
locks
hell?
up.
Hold it. Ow!
It is.
Why is it so hard to just move out when it's been
I'll
like
tell
this?
I'll tell you a funny story this morning. Doing a little vacuuming in the studio because we have a guest, and Andy comes down. He's like, "What are you doing?" I stayed up too fast. I'm like, "Oh, oh my god, I almost threw my back. Wait, don't move, my back.
Yeah.
If I move it even another inch, I'm not moving at all today."
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what it's like.
So weird, isn't it?
I've researched
flies.
multiple side pillows.
Me
How
too.
old
The
am
ones
I
with the
at this
holes.
point?
The ones with the holes
With
in
the
it, so
hole
you
in
can
it, and
get
I'm
your.
like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that one.
Dude,
for my
I've been there
neck.
too.
Like,
I haven't pulled the trigger though.
Oh my god! It
Have you
used to
gotten
be-
any?
Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
This is a good one. This is a good side pillow.
Have you
It used to
gotten
be
any of them?
waking up and going like, "Whoa, whose house is this?"
Yeah, right. And now it's
No.
Now it's waking up
Side
going like,
pillow, I
"Oh,
got my
honey,
glasses,
my
I got
neck
my
is
teeth.
killing me."
I'm waiting
isn't
for.
it-
I'm waiting for when your feet hit the floor and you're like,
That's the other one.
Ooh, that's the one.
Everything
Yeah,
hurts.
you're like,
Just
oh.
everything hurts.
I
You know,
Yeah.
people are not, and I guess, you know, it all depends on genetics and stuff, but I guess just, I feel like people are not aging physically like they used to, right? Because
Right.
I have pictures, and my grandparents aged great, but I have pictures, and I say this all the time, of when I was brought home from the hospital. My grandparents were 49 and
Oh my God.
50.
They look-
okay?
they look-
Me and Pop.
our age,
Yes,
basically.
Oh
Yes,
my gosh.
okay? And they look old. They look
Yeah.
like grandparents.
Yeah, I remember.
So there is no way in hell that if you put you and your wife there next year, accepting grandchildren, that people would look at you and say, "Oh yeah, I get it. They're grandparents." There's no way.
No.
They
I
would be
know.
like, "Wait, are those your kids?"
That
or
could
what?
really happen too because my stepdaughter's 34 and married. So
Yeah,
that's
dude.
an
There you go.
absolute possibility.
Yeah, there you go,
that
brother.
I'll be a grandfather.
There you go, bro.
soon.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
which is crazy.
my oldest turns 18. That better not happen anytime soon.
no.
But
No.
you know, I mean, you know,
I also think we're aging exponentially faster in a way, but I think a lot of it has to do with the crap we're putting in our bodies. I mean,
Oh,
the food and everything
that's it.
is
The
just so
food.
bad.
I'm just saying
nowadays.
physically.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
same,
physically.
yeah.
I don't think people are looking.
No.
Like, I look at my
No.
parents, and
Totally
my
different.
parents are, you know, are much older than my grandparents were when I was born, and they look about their age
Yeah,
when I
right.
was born. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's just, I feel like that, and I feel like people look at people. I mean, look at Brad Pitt at 60. He's 60.
Tom Cruise is like 110.
He is. He's 110 years old.
and he's still doing. It's like I'm gonna hold on to the plane as it takes off. Like,
yeah,
all right.
no, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I feel like you get if you take care of yourself, and God willing, nothing comes up genetically, and cancer and all this horrible stuff. But I feel like you do get a pretty good ride if you take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's-
till like you're 70. Like
I
I don't
agree.
think you start to look old.
Yeah.
Until you hit about 70, which is crazy.
I think
because it used to be 50.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It
And I
used to
also
be
think it's
50.
where you're born and raised.
I do
Because
too.
I see
That's true, too,
my
bro.
parents back east who have done now 80 plus winters.
Yeah.
And that's a lot different than being 80 living
Oh,
out here.
no
It's
doubt.
100%.
two different things. It's
It is.
crazy.
These winters are
crazy.
tough.
I
Yeah.
travel with my own blue zone wherever I go. I'm gonna live. Yeah.
Nice. That's right.
See that woman? She's 120
know-
years old. Yeah.
Did you guys know we almost lost Tom Cruise, by the way? I just saw this documentary. That stunt in one of the MIs where he jumps onto the helicopter and is holding on
Oh,
to
yeah.
the bottom of the rail.
Yeah.
Dude, the guy.
He was not strapped in.
Oh, of course not.
He falls. There's a tether 100 feet below. Remember that? There's this
Yes.
basket.
He caught it
By
right.
chance, the
Oh
wind
my
blows, and he was able to catch one of the things.
Oh
They
my
kept the scene in the
gosh.
movie.
Oh God. So he was almost dead.
He was almost gone.
Oh my
that
gosh.
right there. And I'm worried about him because he just signed on for another like 8 MIs. He says he wants to do him into his 80s.
How is that? That's what's
He said
impossible.
he wants to do him in his 80s.
That's
Yes!
mission impossible.
I'm like, I hope they finally get him a stunt guy because
he won't do it.
I know.
That
I'm
story
really
about
worried.
him running down the building. Have you heard that?
Oh my
It's one of
gosh.
favorite things.
No.
Oh, so he goes up to he's got this stunt guy for years apparently, and he says, "I want to run down the building," and the guy goes, "You can't." And he goes, "Thank you." And they go, so what do you do? He goes, well, I got another stunt guy.
Yeah.
And he ran down the building. I mean, that's
no,
God.
dude. What about when he jumped 2 Mission Impossible ago? He
He
jumped,
broke his leg.
and he goes into the side, smashes his leg,
Yeah.
and gets up and finishes that scene.
Yeah.
And then production shut down for
Yeah,
3
yeah.
months while
That's the Jackie Chan thing. You watch
Yeah.
the old
Oh
Jackie
my
Chan
gosh,
movies like
dude.
Project A and all that stuff. This man fell on his head
Yep.
42 different times
Yep.
while breaking his arm and finishing the movie. That's
And did you see
Unbelievable.
that clip of him watching him younger self?
Oh,
with
and
his-
he's crying with his daughter,
Oh,
and
my
he's
gosh.
watching his. That
Broke
was,
my heart.
I think that was Project A, where he's falling through the.
Yeah.
There might have been Legend of the Drunken Master, but he's falling through, and you're just watching those old school.
Talk about time.
But yeah, that whole. Have you seen the coolest thing in the world? If I ever get to that status, which I never will, but
Hey,
he's
man.
so famous where he is, and I think he's in. I don't know if he's in Beijing, wherever he is. That he bought an old warehouse.
Yes.
That's just on the street. Did you see this?
Yes, I did.
So it just looks like you're pulling up to a warehouse garage because he's followed
Like in New
all
York,
of
one
his
of those old
houses.
aluminum garage doors goes
Yes.
into
Wow.
like this.
And you get in, and he's got built this palace inside this thing
No
that nobody
way.
can find
Yeah,
in
it's
the middle
super
of
cool.
So cool.
I love
saw
that
that.
kind of
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Dude, that was
That
incredible.
was
I actually
awesome,
was
yeah.
driving.
It's like the Batcave.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it's totally unbeknownst
He
to everybody.
keeps opening all. He loves secret doors. So
Yes.
he's opening like, oh, you think it's a bookcase, and you open it up, and it's my bathroom. But then you open up the mirror in the bathroom, and it's part of my bed.
No
Dude,
way.
that was
Cool.
so
cool,
I
dude.
love that kind of. Yeah, there's this old rundown closed Sears in Deep Valley, like Nordoff, and every time I've been driving by it for years. and
Sears, Matt.
It's a huge
That's
Sears.
I know where it is.
Talk
Hold
about
on, wait,
cool
wait, let me
warehouses,
get there.
a firehouse, a Sears,
Let me get there.
a TJ Maxx.
Let me get there.
I mean, what the hell?
It's just been sitting there,
It has.
vacant.
you
for
know,
like
there's nothing like fluorescent lights and
ages.
Long
drywall.
time.
It's got to be super cheap. I'm thinking one day if I have a little bit
Asbestos.
why not? You got this, and I love space. You got this massive 5-acre parking lot you could turn into something crazy, and then you just leave this rundown Sears. No, everybody drives by, but
Wait,
inside
you're leaving
you
the
build
Sears.
a really cool home that nobody
yeah.
would know is there.
Yeah.
I always thought that'd be super cool.
But now everybody's going to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that
Yeah.
you've just given it away.
Hey, it's Matt's place. It's Sears. Let's go to Sears.
Dang it! I would take off the S, and then it's ears, and who's going to want to go?
Yeah,
to
no
ears?
one's gonna
What
wanna go
about
there.
how about this? How about combining? And I'm trademarking this right now for all of us.
Perfect. It's trademarked.
How about
The lawyers have already done it.
They've already done it. We're already in.
Yep.
Combining the idea of an Ed DeBevick's with them on roller skates with an old school drive-in movie.
Dude, that's what it should be.
And you get a big drive-in screen there, but they come up and they deliver it to your cars like on roller skates.
and
that's
spit in
what-
your face and punch you when they serve you.
But
right?
yeah.
We
can leave the mean part.
If we ever get into it, let's do something like that. Dude, people are craving that.
That would be
I know.
awesome.
I feel like people are craving the experiences.
Yeah.
So
I think so, too.
because we're
You know
so
what?
void of them because they're gone.
Well, it's going to become that live experience is going to become a novelty again.
It is.
We've gone so
is.
digital
Yep.
that live again it's becoming a novelty. It's
Yeah.
like a brand new thing. And Elon Musk just did it for Tesla drivers. You can come in and park your car in a drive-in
Oh,
movie
yeah.
theater. They
that's
serve you
cool.
food.
They also have their
the whole
own
thing.
tunnels.
Robots serve you food. It's crazy.
We're not going to have robots. We're going to have people.
No, we're gonna have real people.
We're
They
gonna have
have,
real people.
they have their
Real
own
people.
tunnels in Vegas too. I hear, like you can drive in your own Tesla tunnel system around
That's
the
just
city.
so you can charge them
Right.
because they keep.
Oh, yeah.
losing
You're
power
the
all
boring,
the way.
the boring company. His
It's so
boring
cool.
company. Yeah.
What about a float-in movie theater? Like since we're on the West
Float-in?
Coast, when it's
What are you
like in
doing before
Hawaii,
you
they
go to
used
the
to
movies?
They used to.
I'm floating.
Do you, need to
No.
take, do you need to take a boat there?
No, you just float. Like they give you like a floatable, and then you go into
Oh,
like an
that's,
area.
you know where you can actually do that? You know where
Yeah.
you can do that? You can do, they have at the Green Valley Ranch in Vegas, their pool there, they have concerts.
See?
And
Oh,
so
that's
the
cool.
front row seat is if you want to
Yeah.
get in the pool with a float, you're just sitting there
How
right
cool
in
is
front of the
that?
That's very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
like
most people
that.
don't do it. They gather on the side, and that's why you hear bands like, dude, just come in a floaty. You're
Get
a
in the
foot
pool.
from us. as
That's
we're here."
awesome.
So you
I would
get
do
to-
that.
You get to watch
Especially in
the
Green
Vegas when
Valley
it's like
Ranch?
Yeah.
95 degrees at
Yeah,
night.
exactly. You
I would
sit,
totally
sit
do
there in
that.
the water and
Yeah,
you watch a
I would
band.
totally
Yeah.
do that.
That is so cool,
that would be
man.
neat.
Well, we should do that. I like that idea.
You
And I-
ridiculed
and I-
my
and I like the
floating
Sears idea.
but then
I think the Jackie Chan thing is cool. I love that. You know, Jackie Chan's going to do. He's doing another Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, and what about another Rush
So they're
Hour?
taking those
That's
two.
cool.
I don't know.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't know.
I should.
Dude, the original one is
The original
so-
Karate Kid was
oh my God.
life changing for
Yeah.
me.
Dude, me too, bro.
And the one with
Dude, me
Jada
too.
with Smith, with
Smith's,
Smith.
yeah.
But it should have been awful,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
pretty good.
I mean, it wasn't as good as the first one.
No, it was not.
But I'm
But it was
watching
not
with my
bad.
wife, and my wife. I look over and she's bawling, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Why am I crying at another
Yeah.
karate movie?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
"Because
true.
it's great,
It is.
and
It
it's
was a good
Jackie
movie.
Chan
Yeah.
crying as he's destroying the car."
Yeah.
I mean, it was
No,
better
Jackie
than it
was
had any right to be. that
Absolutely.
movie.
Jackie
I
was phenomenal.
Well, that's
That
why.
first
So now,
Karate Kid.
apparently,
Wow.
they're going to take the two storylines.
and merge them.
And basically, it's Jackie Chan's Karate Kid IP with Ralph Macchio's
Okay.
story, and
Okay.
the
excited.
Danny LaRussa, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Are they going to fight?
No.
Because I feel like that,
Wait,
No, I
Daniel
think-
LaRusso's going to fight? Daniel LaRusso's going to fight!
Damn.
That's awesome.
Dude.
That movie, so growing up, you guys moved here younger. You were obviously
Yeah.
more successful than I was when you were young. I worked in New York. I did Nickelodeon, all that stuff. But growing up in Connecticut and watching the movies that I watched, Karate Kid, 16 Can, not 16 Candles, Karate Kid, Some Kind of Wonderful.
Ugh.
All these movies that showed not only California, but the Valley.
Yeah.
Just that was LA to me growing up in
Got
Connecticut. And it was
it.
like,
Yep.
I have to move to the Valley. And then so I moved to Burbank and I was like,
So cool.
oh, I'm in the Valley. And
I'm
I've been
here.
here for 30 years now.
Isn't that
Crazy,
crazy?
But it's
dude.
still, that was Los Angeles. It wasn't Beverly Hills. It was the Valley.
That's
was
where we grew up. So
Karate
that was our
Kid.
our
Yes,
youth
that
too.
was- that
Remember
was
golf and
LA.
stuff in the first
Oh,
Karate Kid?
God.
Do 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 do.
So
Dude,
cool.
Bananarama with Cruel Summer.
Oh, man, that
my
was awesome.
God!
And
we
the first time I realized golf and stuff was a real place, and you went
you
there,
went?
it was like, oh my God.
Totally.
we did the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
I know.
We did the same thing. I mean, we
100%.
went there. Literally, Karate Kid came out in '84.
Yeah.
Or we went there in '85.
And we were like-
and it looked identical. They hadn't changed anything.
No.
We were like, oh my God, we're here.
I
Like,
know.
dude, the arcade and the
And
go-karts.
Elizabeth Shue.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Everyone's
boy.
first love at that age.
No doubt. I loved her in Cocktail. Like 3 years
everything.
later, dude. Everything she
didn't
did.
live in Las Vegas.
Dude, Adventures in Babysitting. Dude, Adventures in
I think-
Babysitting.
I-
Sorry. Over here.
Sorry.
Maybe you
We
guys
didn't even talk about this
maybe
during
you guys,
the SATs.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe you guys should have sent a low at the SATs. You
I
would have had a
I know.
20-year
I
friendship.
know.
Yeah.
You know,
call, Andy.
you know that in 19, well, my mom made me
Budding
after-
bromance
give me a
before
break.
our eyes.
This
over
is
here.
awesome. I love
My
it.
mom, I was going into sixth grade, and my mom was like, "Listen, we're going to go home," and we didn't know that she was planning on having a baby, but she pulled me out of the business except for the summers. So I was only able to work during the summers, and I did some movie of the weeks and commercial and things, but I wasn't able to do series work, and it was the best time of my life because I was thrown back into my school, which I was a lifer at for 3 years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Did nothing but play sports and go to dances and
awesome.
all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
great things. And my memories
school's
are,
the
dude,
best.
it was the best.
Yeah, yeah.
6th, 7th, 8th grade at Abingdon Friends School in Pennsylvania, the best.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget it. They're the greatest memories of my life, literally, outside
Yeah.
of being with you guys. But
And you know what's funny? I remember because I was in AFS as well.
Yeah.
And I remember watching you go through it, and I remember really yearning to be there in those years, and I was not
you
able
were
to
not.
be
You
there.
ended up going to Campbell Hall, right? So, but at any rate, but coming out of that in 1980 or 1990, I was one of the first. I was able to audition for shows again.
Yeah.
And the first show I got, speaking, this ties in,
Yeah.
was Adventures in Babysitting, the TV show.
Oh, remember when they
When-
did that all the time?
I did, and Elizabeth Shue is the executive producer. She was on set.
Really?
And we shot a
Oh.
pilot.
Holy
I
cow.
was the main kid. Brian Austin Green was the friend.
Oh,
And
wow.
now here's what, but Elizabeth didn't want to be in it, so
see.
it didn't go.
Right,
the
right, right.
pilot was actually pretty good,
Right.
And we spent, you back in those days, you had 2.5 weeks just to prepare and rehearse. Then you shot the pilot. It did not go, but it led the way to.
So you were Keith Coogan's character.
I was Keith Coogan. Yes.
That's the coolest
Yes.
thing. I remember one of the first ones I auditioned for when I started auditioning for big shows in New York was Big. Because
Oh
they
my
were
gosh.
doing Big as a
Oh
show.
my
Yes,
God.
that's
and
right.
Jason Alexander walked out of the room, had auditioned for the role, and he just tapped me on the shoulder. I was probably 8, 9, 10, whatever I was.
Isn't that crazy?
I must have been older than that, 10 or 11. He just is like, go get him, kid. And I was like, and then they never went. And then it never went.
Isn't that
They
crazy?
tried to turn all these shows, Uncle Buck, they tried
remember
to turn
that.
all these movies
All of them. Speaking of
into
Big,
television shows.
I got the friend part in Big.
The
Okay?
film?
The film, the Penny Marshall movie, okay? And I was Penny's choice. Mom can tell this story better than me. And
I've never, by the way, never heard this story.
yes, and I guess Penny had a long talk with Mom because Tom Hanks felt that I was, and this is the story I've been told, that I was too engaging as the friend to where you were never going to root for his character as a young kid if I was the friend.
So they went more plain kind
They
of?
went
quote,
more
unquote?
like, just more rough. And,
Yeah.
I was,
You know what? Honestly,
which is true.
it was actually kind of a good
Yeah,
call
it
in the
was.
sense
It was.
in the sense that because I remember that friend character and he was actually really stand outish in the sense that he was like this kind of
rough and
rough and tough.
He was in Overboard.
Yeah.
Yes. Also
But he went on to do some great work.
He was in Hook too. Wasn't
Yeah.
he?
He was.
Yeah. I mean,
He was.
this guy's done.
He
it.
was.
I mean,
They did great.
completely
Who was he in
the
Hook?
complete.
I think he was in Hook. Am I wrong?
But Penny
thought
Marshall
he was.
I don't know, but
maybe.
I couldn't be
gonna
complete
check.
Yeah.
more
Do some research.
opposing
Right.
to you.
Right.
So
Definitely
I
know
do
that.
understand
Right.
that.
But Penny Marshall, my mom always talks about the amazing conversation she had with Penny Marshall, who said he's the studio's choice, he's my choice, he's fantastic, because they pinned me for it. And
Yeah.
then I guess they told Tom, and then Tom was like, no, I want that kid, but anyway, yeah, speaking of big, isn't that funny?
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She, he's obviously in the body of an adult, but she bangs a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
You go back and watch that movie.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's really
You know, it's
creepy.
funny. I always thought about that because he was so awkward.
Yeah.
I remember that. You're right.
That movie is so
13.
brilliant.
It's
Oh my
good.
God.
It's
Oh my God.
amazing.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah, there's so many
you
things
you
about
look
it.
back.
Bobby
and it's like,
Loggia was
You
in
would,
that
you would
movie.
never get
Robert
away with certain
Loggia.
I
things.
worked with Robert Loggia.
I worked. My brother
Yeah.
worked with Robert Loggia. I did a
Really?
film in Connecticut with
Yeah.
Robert
He's
Loggia.
Robert Loggia. Bobby
He's so
Loggia.
good.
That's right.
Can I ask you a question? Because I always wanted to ask you this, and why not do it on a podcast? Where did the comedic timing come from? Were you born with it? Was your family a jokey type of? What is it? Did you go to class? Like I always wondered.
No. TV.
No, right?
TV.
Just watching.
Huge fan of television. So
Interesting.
growing up
What was
watching Different Strokes.
Okay.
Family Ties.
Got it.
Dude, Family Ties.
Give me a break.
Family Ties.
Wow.
What's Happening?
Did you ever watch Growing Pains?
Growing Pains. I mean,
Got
these
it.
are all. It was,
Got it.
but MASH. But I always tell people the second I saw Michael J. Fox on Family Ties,
That was
I
it
knew
for
what
me.
I had to do with my life.
Dude.
Not what I wanted to do,
Wow.
what I
he
had to do.
He's just so spectacular.
And it wasn't. I never wanted to be Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. I wanted to be Michael J. Fox in Family Ties.
So
That's all I
cool.
wanted
Alex
was Sick
so
Keaton.
cool.
That's all I wanted was Sick.
Wow.
There's a story that I heard about him
Very cool.
that he was so in tune with everything on the set that when he would walk on to say a line, his back would be towards the door, but he still knew exactly when to pause for the click of the door so it wouldn't cover his line.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, those kind of things.
Dude,
I
I
just-
just,
time-
I actually just
He knew how
told-
long it would take for the set door to close,
To
whether
close.
whether
So-
somebody was doing it,
Yep.
or whether it was
And
on
he
a little.
wouldn't want
Dude,
it to
that's
click
so
on a
cool.
joke or
Wow,
on
that
his
gave me
line so
chills.
he could
That's
pause.
So
So
cool.
it would click.
You know, one of my
He's
Master of
the master of sitcom.
Yeah.
I just told this story last week about how he put it the best way I've ever heard to read the audience, that he would hear
You
them.
tell this story all the time.
I
but
know.
yes,
he
go
would
ahead.
hear the creak in the chair,
chair.
and know they were the anticipation
brilliant.
was lean. They were leaning for the laugh.
Who was it?
Brilliant, dude.
Who was
Amazing.
running?
Master.
Who was running NBC? Right, it was family. Who was
Brandon
running?
Tartikoff.
So
Yeah.
there's a Michael J. Fox movie on Apple Plus, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty dang good. But Brandon Tartikoff tells a story in it that when
Still? Is that what it's called?
it's called Still.
Yeah.
It's really good.
have to see it.
It's
Oh,
yeah,
really,
I wanna see
dude,
it. It was
just
check
nominated.
It's really good.
Oh, I
check
can't-
it
I'm
out.
gonna definitely watch
It's
that
really. I mean,
tonight.
Michael J. Fox, even with all the struggles with the Parkinson's stuff, he's got
yeah,
it, man.
he's-
And it's so cool. And I anyway. Well, but the Brandon Tartikoff says, he didn't want him in Family Ties. He said Michael J. Fox was somebody that would never. He was really funny, but in the audition, he thought he was not the type of guy that would be on a lunchbox.
Yes, I heard this story.
And then. Two seasons later, Michael J. Fox sent him a lunchbox with his
lunchbox.
picture on it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
No,
Michael J.
this
Fox,
is-
when he did
Wow,
Back to the
man.
Future 2 and 3 back to back in 1989, he was the biggest star in the world and the
Yeah.
highest paid movie star in the
Yeah,
world.
and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Oh my
And
gosh.
if you want to go see a great film before he was even Michael J. Fox, he's just Michael Fox. It was his first thing he ever did. Big mouthful of braces. He did something called Midnight Madness.
No, he didn't.
And it is
Really?
one
What?
of the greatest movies. So
Oh, I can't wait to watch
it's
this.
David Naughton is the star.
Wow.
Okay.
Stephen First. And it's 5 teams around Los Angeles that are on like a scavenger hunt. It's low budget. He's Michael Fox. It is phenomenally
I'm gonna go
bad
check it
in
out.
the
I am
best
too.
possible way.
One of the other Michael J. Fox movies is anyone see the Hard Way with James?
yeah, with
my
James
gosh.
Rowe.
Wait,
Yeah, with
dude,
James
that
Rowe.
movie is unbelievable, dude.
So
Yeah.
good when he's
Yeah.
like,
Dude,
Okay,
so many things in
when
that
he's
movie.
there
are
undercover,
so
and he
good.
says, "Really, you look a lot like my." He's like, "I am him." He says, "No way!" And he rips off his mustache. He's there going, "Oh my god, oh my god."
Guys,
He's
I'm having
playing
a
his
moment.
girlfriend.
Dude,
in
that is so
I'm having
good.
a
He's
moment
going to
here.
role play with him about his girlfriend. Oh my god.
What's your
I'm
moment?
having a moment here. It just finally clicked, Will.
What?
It just finally clicked as to why we got along and why we worked well together. It's your sitcom and TV IQ.
Oh, is that what
it's
it
the
is?
same as ours.
Yeah, that's-
we come from the same school. We
Yeah.
taught ourselves the same way.
Yeah.
That's
buddy.
how it is.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Wow,
Yeah.
it just finally clicked because
Well, with you guys, it's the
Unbelievable.
same with my brothers. My brothers and I, we speak in quotes.
yeah,
That's
man.
what we do
So
too.
everything is movie quotes, television quotes, that kind of thing. I have one of my
Absolutely.
first things I did when I bought my house. I have a movie quote bathroom. So there's just pens everywhere, and it's just everybody goes in and writes up their favorite
That's
movie or
so
TV quote, and
cool.
it's just covered
Awesome.
everywhere. But
Love
that's what it is. Is that's what all I wanted to do. So
Heck
the
yeah.
comedy came from watching the best people doing it. I mean,
That's
when
the
you
same
watch-
as us, dude.
When you watch Carol Burnett, when you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
any
Yes.
of these kind of shows, especially back in the day,
Yeah, dude.
they were phenomenally great. And of course, as a kid, I'm watching just the acting. Now, as an adult, I'm going back and going like the writing on these shows.
Oh,
is
my
just
God.
next
Oh, my God.
level
Yeah.
for
No.
these things.
Well, you're a writer too, man.
I am.
Which is pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
And Andy's writing too. I admire
am.
that.
I'm
It takes a
miserable.
certain amount of real diligence and
Yeah.
to sit down and write. It is not easy.
It's
and
funny, I don't write comedy mostly though, which is strange.
Interesting.
I write for the animated shows that I do, so I
Right.
usually
That's
write
awesome.
fantasy or superhero stuff. So
But that's
Isn't that crazy?
super cool,
Yeah, it's
dude.
fun. You know,
I,
That's
I,
honestly
I
love
gotta
that.
say it's. I mean, just because I'm such a huge fan, it's rare that I ever get to sit at a table with someone that has played Batman. That
yeah.
is-
Oh,
that is
yeah,
pretty-
dude!
I mean,
have.
He's
Yes,
obsessed
thank
with
you.
Batman.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean,
I
well,
was, yes.
yeah, big animation guy. I
Yeah,
love
me too.
animation. You know, it's
And we
stuff.
lost Kevin last year, which was horribly
I
awful.
know,
and,
man.
But yeah, Batman Beyond is.
That's when I was growing up. It was you know,
Right.
that was
Yeah.
my era. So.
Well, he's Batman. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll forever. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Who's your favorite Batman?" Michael Keaton. No, Kevin Conroy.
He's
is
so.
Batman.
I
Everyone
mean,
else
that
is
voice
close
is-
second.
Oh man.
But yeah, so that's
But,
what I
yeah.
wrote. Is I wrote for Thundercats and Transformers and
So cool.
Thundercats.
yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, so that
Super
was
cool, dude.
was my writing stuff. I like to act comedy and write fantasy
Interesting.
because I
love
like
that.
to read fantasy. So
Love it.
I play D&D and I'm a big nerd and I love it.
Dungeons and Dragons,
It's the
baby.
best thing in the
Yeah,
world.
man.
It's
crazy.
improv with consequences.
It
So
is.
it's
That's
it
love
is.
it.
really great. That's
I
so
love that.
cool.
It's the coolest thing
Awesome,
ever.
dude.
But yeah,
That's
so
so
that's
cool.
that. I mean, sitcom was one of the great. So they just did the MASH. Going back to the best sitcoms ever, they just did the MASH reunion. It's like 50 some odd year. I think it's
Yeah.
50 years.
Jeez.
It is.
And they interviewed. It ended with one of the greatest Alan Alda quotes. And we'll all get this
Because
we
Alan
haven't-
Alda's like, what? He's 87? Gotta be
something like that. Yeah. Something
Wow.
87, 88. And he said, "It's so long ago that I look back on the episodes and it's like you're watching someone else."
Yeah.
Mm.
And
I
I'm
feel like
just
that in
yes.
some things.
And he goes, and I'm just really glad he lets me live in his house.
That is so
Wow.
cool.
And it's exactly what it is
Wow.
because we're watching
Wow.
Boy now again 30 years
Dude.
later, and we don't remember a lot of
I'm
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Would you remember you wouldn't remember episodes of stuff, and you see them, and
No.
you remember the moments behind the scenes. I remember more stuff with you than
Totally.
the actual stuff
Oh,
we're
I
doing.
say it all the
100%.
time.
Yeah.
I say it all the time.
You
Yeah.
remember that stuff.
It's those
So
memories
I
that-
loved that
wow.
quote from Alan Alda where it's so true. You're watching somebody else, but you're reaping the benefits of everything that
That's
happened.
so
there.
true.
That
I mean,
is so-
literally, we are in the house that I got
That's-
because of Boy Meets
I say the
World.
same thing. My house is the house that Mickey Mouse built. I mean, that's
So true,
just-
dude.
Haha, thanks.
Well, pal.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
So it's
Wow, man.
That's how it is.
Old
mashes
school mouse.
to me.
Like, we worked for the mouse when it
We worked
was-
for the mouse.
We
the
worked
same
when
way
it
I
was-
got slimed. Like I got slimed
Yeah,
on the
dude.
set of,
Yeah,
on
I
the
know.
set of You Can't Do That on Television.
Real slime.
I got
know.
actual
Real
slime.
slime, and we worked
Yeah.
for real Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
When he was a
Old
generous
school
mouse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you'd go there,
It was an
and
awesome
they would
mouse,
they would
actually.
expect you to work in one of the parks, but they'd treat you like royalty. in that
Yeah.
park.
Oh man, how much
Whereas,
fun was
dude,
that?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
that
they
was
would
just.
fly us down to open up.
Yep.
I have
Animal
it.
Kingdom.
Wait,
or-
wait, over there.
know,
I
or-
have a plaque right underneath my harmonica. If
Yeah.
so we got to grab this plaque. Check this out. I found this, Matt. Read that. Matt'll present that. Read that out
What do we
there.
got here? I want on my glasses.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
God.
Oh, God.
Hey, get a glass
Hold
eye.
on. I was
Get
gonna
a
say,
glass
just
eye.
Will, can you borrow your glass
You
eye?
remember that line from Weekend at Bernie's, right?
Oh.
When he puts on his glasses.
This has a real
You remember that
special
line
meaning
from Weekend
to
at Bernie's?
me.
Don't
Yeah.
say it from when he puts on his glasses.
Oh, yeah,
With the
yeah,
two
yeah.
guys. You ever see Weekend at
Oh, of
Bernie's?
course.
Okay, and he's like, you know what he says.
I know what he said.
If anything's gonna go, I'm glad it's the eyesight, not the old joystick. You know what I'm saying?
It's so true.
Oh,
so
my.
true.
That's a quote. It's not really a.
Guys,
Anyway.
this plaque, this means a lot to me. This is the grand opening celebration, April 22nd, 1998,
Yeah.
of Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Isn't that amazing?
How cool
Wow,
is
look at
that?
that, buddy.
You know who hosted
I
this?
love that.
I hosted part of this opening with Danielle Fishel.
Really?
Yeah.
No
Dude.
way.
We were flown down to Animal
We were
Kingdom.
all down
and
there.
We were all
How
down there.
cool
We
is
had our
that?
segments.
Oh,
We did our, and then you throw to
guys.
somebody and be like,
Dude.
and now let's go to Drew Carey.
They
who you
did.
never met when you
yeah,
were
they
down
would
there.
go
They
to
gave
somewhere
you
in the
a-
park.
they gave
Oh,
you
so
a
freaking
fun.
cool.
They
man.
treated
Wow.
you like
Wow.
little royalty.
Yeah.
Anybody that
Yeah.
worked for Disney. They also gave you, remember the Disney credit card?
Yeah.
To just charge
Oh.
whatever
Whatever you
need to
wanted,
We
charge.
yeah.
never got
Oh
that.
my
We weren't
God.
allowed.
Oh.
You guys got stuff, but we weren't allowed.
Okay,
to get.
okay.
We asked,
So-
but we
so-
never got that stuff.
So we were there, and the Disney credit card. We got credit cards.
It wasn't always 1 year.
No,
2
that
years.
was. I think
It
that was
rare.
once, and maybe that
Yeah.
was just you.
Yeah.
I never got
Well,
a credit
yeah,
card.
I remember it.
And,
No,
and
I
not that
remember
you
it.
ever
No.
took advantage of, it, but like everything.
What do you mean you didn't take advantage of it?
Oh,
You didn't-
hats for everybody
yeah.
in the park. Yeah, put them
Well,
on.
how about the memories we have at the
100,000 hats.
With the
100,000.
Letterman jackets. Letterman jackets for everybody.
Churros all around.
250,000 churros. Everybody in the park.
Get the
churros.
Mickey card right here.
Dude, it was so awesome.
No wonder they
Grand
stopped giving
Floridian?
them. No wonder
Oh,
they
yeah.
stopped giving out
What about the
Mickey
King
card.
Kamehameha
My brother.
suite?
King Kamehameha
Oh, that
suite
was-
At the
yeah.
Polynesian.
The Polynesian.
The
Oh,
King
they were the
Kamehameha
best.
suite.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
if you ever stayed in there.
No, we
But
did
Michael
the Fort
Eisner at the
Wilderness.
time.
Fort
Oh,
Wilderness.
I love
Fort
Fort Wilderness.
Wilderness.
Yeah.
I love that
memories.
show they
I
got.
love
they got
Disney,
there.
man.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Working
my
for
gosh.
Disney was the best, especially
the
in its
best.
heyday.
Dude, it was the best.
They'd
The
put you
best.
on the private jet or a jet
Yes.
with all the other
Oh.
stars.
Yes.
They'd fly you there. There'd
So
be
much
remember
fun.
you'd get off and there'd be the red carpet with the line of your guide. So
Yes.
your guide would like pick you up
Yes.
and
even
put you in
the
the
stands
car.
would have little golden Mickey heads.
You
on
know,
them.
was
honestly,
the best.
Iger, if you're out there, I know they brought him back. You know, he's like, I'm done. No, you're not. The company's in the
Every
shitter.
time they think I'm out,
Right.
pull me back in.
If you want to reinstate Disney into the right mindset,
Bring
it's-
back the Disney credit card.
No, yes, please. No, it's that.
Yeah.
It's that feeling
The
of
magic. It
family
was
wonder.
and
Yeah.
magic.
It was
It really
magic.
was.
It was
Wonder.
magic
Oh my
and
gosh.
wonder.
Yes.
If you want to do anything, bring that back.
And
Yeah.
bring a television show back with the four of them.
Yes.
How about just
Absolutely.
bring back a family sitcom?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I know,
Yes,
man.
I don't even
Yes.
care if I'm on it. I
I'm
just
Yes.
watch
100%
it.
with you
Yeah,
on
I
this.
know.
Bring back a
great
family
I know.
family
Something.
sitcom.
I know.
Let's make a whole night of great
also,
family sitcoms
I gotta-
and television
I gotta-
programming.
Not kids
I
programming.
gotta-
Family, it's a
Yeah,
big difference.
Big difference,
and,
dude.
And I got to be honest with you, the reference sitcom, I feel like is just thrown around so much these
Yep.
days,
I
and
know.
it's not.
So
it's
true.
like we know what a sitcom is,
Yeah.
because we've done them.
well,
But
it's
there's
actually
no
it's called
single.
situational comedy.
Yeah, and it's and I like the
That's
old format
actually-
with multi-camera.
Yeah.
And you shoot a fourth wall and like
In front of an
like,
audience.
In front of
Gotta
a
have a
live
live audience.
That is a sitcom.
Yeah.
This like single camera stuff
No.
that has jokes in it is a single camera comedy.
no, I agree.
It's not a sitcom.
I know.
No, I agree.
It's like I don't. So I just we got it.
It was the perfect hybrid because it was a play in people's house every
Yes,
week.
100%,
absolutely
dude.
right.
Broadway in a
Absolutely
box.
right.
Yes,
absolutely
that's
right.
what it was,
100%, buddy.
and that's what you wanted. It was the perfect. It was the play. There was
Dude,
just a bank of cameras in front
And
of you.
they
It was
need
awesome.
they need to go back to it.
They
They need
do.
to bring it back
A-
so bad.
100%.
A traditional play
Why
in
do
the
you
box.
think the biggest things? I was just gonna say, why do you think the biggest things that are on Netflix and all those things are Friends and
Yeah, that's
Seinfeld
right.
and all
That's
these
right, dude.
streaming services? The
Dude.
big things is the old sitcoms
And
that
I
people
know.
want to watch.
And because
I know.
and I feel like they've made so many attempts with this misconstrued version of what a sitcom really is
Yep,
by making
right.
it
And then they
single
say it
camera.
doesn't work.
And then they say it doesn't work, and
yeah.
they turn their backs on it. And it's like, guys, you haven't made a real sitcom in
Canned
10,
laugh.
15 years.
Canned time laughing.
Oh, my gosh.
Where it fades in and then fades
I
out.
don't get
so
it.
you say your joke and then it's ha.
I don't
ha.
get it.
It kills.
Dude, wait a minute.
Kills
What you
the
need is
format.
what they did when we were working, which is when you guys would walk out, the audience would scream.
Yeah.
Heck
and
yeah.
they would let that
Well,
live.
bro.
Yeah.
When Joey Russo walked out, every
Bro,
time.
are you-
They screamed for
are you-
20 seconds
Yeah.
and they let it live.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a
How could you
sitcom.
possibly think you could take a fake laugh
I don't know.
and recreate the
I-
same energy?
You cannot.
That would
You can't.
like how the heck could you make
can't.
that?
You can't.
It's
Who the
just
hell
fools.
thought of that?
Fools. Literal fool.
And I
We'll
just gotta-
put in fake laughter because they'll laugh when they hear the laugh.
I feel like Peter
it's not
Sellers
the joke that cues the
in Shot
laugh.
in the Dark when he's like, the fools, the little
Yeah.
fools.
Fools.
Killed you, the credit.
But it's bizarre. Why would the laugh
And,
cue
you
the
know, I
laugh?
gotta say, in the whole sitcom what I say,
Been heated, guys.
lineage, very few actors get to have what both of you guys have had, and that is a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
True.
Yeah.
You had the woe,
Yeah.
and you had the Feeney call.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And you guys are in like a handful of people, guys.
true.
That is
Yeah.
so rare, so
It is.
special.
It is.
And it's
Let me
pretty
ask you
awesome.
something,
Yeah.
because I didn't know. Did you know you had a catchphrase?
Well, no, I mean, it was very. I found out.
You guys were before. This is great to bring this up. They were before social media.
Right.
Yeah,
Before knowing what that all was.
We knew when people started shouting it, like yelling at him.
Yeah,
That's how you knew.
When we,
Because guys,
about a year
everywhere
in,
you go, whoa.
Well, it wasn't even a catch. I
Whoa.
mean, they gave it to me as a joke, and then
Right,
it turned
yeah.
into something because the audience laughed. So I got 3-4 weeks. We were, 3-4 weeks ahead of it
Yeah.
airing, and it was working in front of the live audiences. So once I did it and it worked, the next week they wrote another one in, and the following week I had 3 more in,
So
and the following
freaking
week,
cool.
and they were just seeing if it was going to work. And then all of a sudden it aired and it started to take off. And it wasn't till like we did, like I would do these autograph signings. I'm sure you did
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you'd show up and there'd be
Yeah.
thousands of people there. All of a sudden, like that summer when I went on that tour, everywhere we went, people
That's
were
the
doing it. And then I realized, oh my God, this is huge. And then it just became massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
I didn't have the thousands of fans. I had the 8 I had the 8 fans thinking that your line was too long, so they came to me for a while. Okay. That's back in the day. That's our show didn't take off until we were well off the air.
It's really
It's
true.
like the second and third run, that's where we became huge.
Wait, really?
So, no, we were I always say that we were the young Wings.
Remember that show, Wings?
Wings? That's a great
exactly.
How long was Wings even on,
Exactly.
though?
8
Shut up,
years.
dude.
Wings
And
was on
no-
8
The
years?
people on Wings didn't know they were on for 8 years.
Yes.
So I'm
Whoa.
saying
That
is
our
crazy.
show was the same thing. We
Dude,
just
that's-
kept going, and we had really loyal, amazing fans.
So
But
true.
We were never until 7th season.
So true.
We did not even get TV Guide. Finally came down 7th season
that's
and did an
insane.
article about us. We just kept going.
Yeah, you guys were on forever.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We just kept going, but we didn't have that. Like, you were a superstar. We were just on a show.
It was a slow burn.
It was a slow burn. So that, and
Wow.
again, it wasn't until years later where again people would yell the Feeney call at me with that. I was like, oh, I guess, I have
No
a catchphrase.
way.
And I didn't know that.
Yep.
you know, I
Oh
knew
yeah, well,
that.
Boy Meets World is. I mean, you see, it's just been ingrained in everyone's lives. Honestly, it kind of happened that way with Brotherly Love and Us because
Yeah, actually, it's true. Brother Love was only on for a
Brotherly Love
second.
was only on for 3 seasons,
and
you
it's
know?
hugely
And-
important to people.
And then, but what happened
It
is
was syndicated
it went on,
to
it
Disney
went on the Disney
Channel.
Channel and became the #1 show over there.
That's
And then it's
way
now
after we
lived
were off,
on,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's taken on a life of its own.
Yeah.
And now
That's
there
what
are,
happened to us.
yeah, but
we went to like ABC Family, then
Yep.
to MTV2 or something
Right.
like
Wow.
that,
right.
and then now it's on Disney Plus, and so
Yep.
it's that.
And
same thing.
you know what's really special about Boy Meets World too is I'm noticing again because of the lack of family sitcoms.
Yeah, dude.
it has had this whole
People
other
are
life.
finding it.
It's
They're
generational
Dude,
now.
hold on.
and it's super cool.
That's
and
a good point. The Office is. I mean, well, The Office is again a single camera, but Friends, all these traditional sitcoms, people are rediscovering because there isn't one out there.
No, exactly.
So true.
And the reason the longevity comes from the writing. Boy Meets
Yeah.
World.
Well
So
written.
good.
We're okay. We're good. I mean, we're good. I'm not
But the
saying that
writing-
we're
no,
not,
the
but the
writing was
writing
great.
is solid.
Really
it never
solid.
talks down to kids.
Nope.
It's something that resonates. I mean, yes, the technology changes, stuff changes all the time, but kids are kids. So
100%, man.
that's why, TGIF comes back or something like that. I think it'd be a smash hit.
They need to,
I
and they
know,
need to
man.
do it the right way.
I agree.
You can't do it. You got to have familiar faces. You have
Yep.
to let our generation be the outside force.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed.
For the new nucleus,
I
as I
agree.
call it.
Yeah.
You can't try to do. You have to include some of the IP. You
Yeah.
have to because you're depending on those very people. It always blows me away when they try to reboot shows and they literally bank on the IP of that audience that grew up with that show or was an adult watching that show. And then they obliterate them
Yep.
by literally changing the entire meaning of the show
Yeah.
with completely new faces and going, I don't know why it
Well, it
didn't
didn't
work.
work. I didn't
What do
get
you mean why it didn't work? Because
Yeah.
nobody,
Yeah.
you were depending on a massive fan base that you literally obliterated by completely abandoning every principle that the
Yeah.
original show stood for. That's
agree.
why.
I agree.
It's not rocket science.
My wife coined a phrase, a word that is absolutely perfect. It's nostalgia.
No.
And that's what people are looking for. Is they're
I love
looking
that.
for nostalgia. She said that's what
Nostalgia.
trademark
One
anything,
is-
it'd be that.
Trademark Susan Friedle.
Yeah.
But that's what she said. She's like, that's what they're looking for is nostalgia. They want
Exactly.
that something new with that same feeling they had that
That's
brought
it.
them back to the
Great.
thing.
Dude,
And
kudos
so-
to your wife. That is perfect.
Yeah, so that's what I think people would like. And if I was a network, I'd lean into it.
Dude,
Meaning
no,
I would
man.
go like,
Why aren't
put
we
your phones down.
working at network? Because honestly, I'm befuddled
Yeah.
by so many of
I
these
agree.
people that are making decisions that they're making.
Yeah.
Going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's
I'd
so
say
easy.
Put your phones down, grab your kids,
Yes.
grab your popcorn, and sit around the couch together like
That's
you
it.
used to back in the day.
That's
We're
it.
going to give you an hour of good programming.
It's going to be a throwback night.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
going to be that.
Oh, that's so smart.
That's it.
Nostalgia Tuesday.
That's it.
Oh,
Hey,
dude, this
guys.
is great.
Guys.
There you go.
Nostalgia Tuesday, everybody.
Anybody hiring? Maybe you. ABC, you need help.
I know. It's-
NBC, you need help.
They all need help.
Only
man.
thing,
help.
only
TV
thing.
needs help.
Let me tell you something. These linear broadcasts, and for people out there that don't understand the business, not to talk too inside, but the remaining old school stations, the linear broadcast, which is ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, right?
I know what you
These
need.
people
Another
are-
crime procedural drama.
These people,
Oh my goodness.
these people are struggling because the only thing that really keeps them afloat is sports, football. I mean, you know,
well, the commercials and the ads. That's it.
No, but I mean, what people are tuning in to watch.
Yeah,
Will
and
Hort on
And
them.
Andy's right. And a night of Chicago Fire,
Yeah.
Chicago
Right.
PD,
But-
Chicago Law,
That's it.
Chicago.
Right.
And to that point though, those shows they're out there, they exist, and they're going to have a really hard time competing with streamers because how can Chicago Fire compete with the 10-episode David Fincher show?
It's
Granted, it's a
impossible.
different audience, but it's still in the same umbrella. However, where you can have a competitive market is half-hour comedy.
Yeah, I agree. And streamers are starting to lose so much money now too that they're eventually just going to become networks.
They are.
They're gonna have to.
I call it
What
back
is
to the
it?
future,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
Isn't
What
it
is
funny?
going-
Like
yeah.
we are going to have.
Forget the
It'll be
ads.
all digital,
Yeah.
no commercials. Yay! It'll be some commercials. Yay! It'll be paid commercials. If you want and now it's
Yeah.
all commercials.
Yeah.
So
it's all commercials.
Or you pay a premium.
'Cause
to-
that's
Which,
how
by the
you-
way, no one's going to do.
I know.
That's how you do it. You sell ads.
Yeah.
You do it
The
for
geniuses-
podcasts. You do it for everything.
The
You sell
geniuses
ads.
that
That's how you
created
do
the
it.
system initially said, "Hey, what an idea! We can have product out there. We'll have product placement that'll pay for the product, and then we can continue to grow, and everybody makes money. Yeah, great. We're going to do away with that. And we're going to turn it into a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Where we just somehow. I mean, it's so true.
No one ever went wrong with a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, nobody.
50 of your friends together and you
That's
best.
literally what's
We're
what's
going to do it off
happened.
of subscription.
Yeah.
And spend $3 billion a
Yeah.
year. How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's going to work.
How about just maybe like
Wow.
changing the amount of time as people's when you give to the ads in the sense.
That's right.
Don't do a 5-minute
Don't take
block
them out
in
of it.
between.
Don't take them out of
Don't
it.
take them out of it. Do the 30 seconds. Do the
Bang.
minute.
Put a
Yeah.
before or after. Have something come up
Yes.
on the somewhere where whatever you need. I don't know.
Do
There's
a
ways to work
bubble,
it in.
pop
Yeah.
up. Get inventive on
You know,
it.
back
but
in
don't
the 50s,
just throw
they
it
had
away.
product placement in the show.
I was just about
That
to say,
too.
Do,
What
a,
about
do a Truman
product-
Show thing. Do a Truman Show
I mean,
thing.
literally, you drink Pepsi in the
I mean,
show.
yeah.
Remember how they used to Greek everything?
Yes.
Oh, God forbid we show this because they wouldn't pay.
right.
But why wouldn't you pay?
Yeah.
I mean, if you were
course.
Procter
Well,
& Gamble,
I mean-
why wouldn't you pay
well,
the
sorry.
show?
I mean,
if
well,
you got
exactly.
Procter & Gamble
so
product
that's
in the
that,
show.
a lot of that's what independent movies are. That's what they just do now. Like to get
Yes.
a budget, you just go out and before you shoot it, you start
So true.
packing it full of product, and then
Have
there
you
you go.
seen? Is it And God Spoke? Is that what it is? Oh, I can't. There's a great movie where it's a documentary about trying to shoot the Bible movie, but on a budget.
Oh my god,
That's great.
This sounds
No.
So
amazing.
it's so funny. So
That
Moses
sounds
comes
incredible.
up on the mount and he says, "I have just received these 10 commandments from God and this wonderful elixir," and he's holding up Coke.
I gotta see
Oh, it's
this.
the greatest
Sounds like a
thing.
Mel Brooks movie or
Yeah,
something.
Oh,
it's
dude,
awesome.
listen,
God.
one of the funniest, and it's such an inside joke, but if you're in the industry, it's one of the funniest jokes ever. They're interviewing the first AD. And he says,
Oh, that's
he's just being interviewed, and he says, he's like looking at the camera. He says, so anyway, I'm with a friend of mine this weekend, and we're walking to the golf course, and all of a sudden, copy that.
Oh,
And
that's
it's such
great.
a thing where if you're in the
Oh, that's
industry, you
great.
just
Yes.
lose
Oh
it.
my God, that's
It's
so
like,
good.
oh,
Because how many conversations have you had with the AD where
So-
you're in the middle of
so-
something really meaningful, and then he just
for anybody
He's
for
so
anybody
down.
that doesn't get it, they're wearing. For anybody that doesn't get it, they're wearing an earpiece in their ear, and he's getting something announced over the radio.
funny,
Yeah, that
dude.
is unbelievable.
They build the arc too big. And they can't get it out of the studio, so it's wedged halfway between the door
my
and trying to
God.
get it out
This
of the
sounds
studio.
great.
I gotta see this because I love
funny.
because as you know, a lot of times when you're on these independent movies or things like that, the off camera is better than what's happening in front because it's such a disaster.
They're unmitigated
It's so
disaster.
chaos.
How many?
So
I have this weird habit of after like a week of doing these independent movies, in my mind, I go, God, I wish I could just make this a comedy.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
9 out of 10
like
times.
most, I'm like, if I could just make this drama
okay,
thriller
here's
a
what you're
comedy.
gonna have to do. It's gonna be a very difficult task, but no one's ever done this before. You're gonna have to shoot 2 movies simultaneously.
I know.
You're gonna have to shoot the film and then the
know.
mockumentary
My
of
God.
making the film.
so
at the
true,
same
dude.
time.
I had this great.
It's gotta be
I keep
done.
telling them I got this idea when I was doing this, and this was it actually turned out very well. But Joe and I did this little rom-com for Tubi with Joe's wife.
yeah,
and I was
we
like,
actually wrote it. My
cool.
wife and I wrote it,
and I directed it.
Yeah.
And he plays a vet in it. And I'm like, what if he gets bitten by a dog and starts to turn into a dog man, like page 5? And then throughout the movie,
The whole
he's like
movie he was
dealing with
pitching
this teen wolf eating all these people. I don't know why I love it. And I'm like, this could be great. We take this like traditional rom-com script, but the lead character, we add this storyline.
Dog man.
Where he's turning into a dog.
I saw a real
Dr. Dogman.
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr.
Dogman.
Dogman.
See, and I read this really funny
Dude,
quote for writers.
there's something there.
Hey, don't ever just toss out an idea because Sharknado is actually a thing. name.
Yeah,
You know what?
it's true.
Bro, I'm telling you, people would love Dogman.
They would.
Dr. Dogman. I
It's
really
like, it's like Shaggy Dog meets Teen Wolf.
Exactly.
Yes.
God.
I love
Meets
it.
Wolf with like Benicio and and Jack Nicholson, right? Yeah.
Really
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's
funny.
funny,
Yeah, it
right?
is. It's like it is.
I know,
Funny.
Dr.
Yeah.
Dogman.
But it's so
he
so,
bites the dog and then
it's
you
so
start to
true.
turn
There
into
is
it.
so much comedy to mine from pretty much everything. I
Oh,
mean, that's
boy.
what's so brilliant. So
I
when
love
you
it.
hit that tone, even in a drama, when you can mine those moments
yeah,
of
yeah, no,
comedy,
it's
the best.
in an action movie, in a
the best.
when you could take it out,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
The
honestly,
unexpected comedy movies are some of my favorites. Like The Martian shouldn't have been as funny as it was.
Oh my
absolutely
God.
not.
And
it was
you're
so
watching
true.
it and you're like, this movie's hysterical.
Hysterical.
Like,
Absolutely
how is this
hysterical.
movie funny? This guy's trapped alone
so
on Mars.
unusual to be loved by anyone.
As they're all killing everybody.
Yeah, I loved it. You're right, dude. Great reference.
Very strange.
There's this one movie called The Barbarian, which is this strange horror movie. Actually, Sam told me to watch it, and it's very good. But there's one. I don't want to ruin the movie, but I kind of will right now.
Sam's like Captain Kirk over there.
Yeah.
He swivels in this chair and controls
the power
whole,
st- yeah, he's at the
controls
top,
everything.
hub.
Yeah,
Very slowly.
Yes, exactly. Dogs, very
The power
slowly.
station.
Get
But-
the money.
It's this horror movie, and there's like it's this horror movie about this Airbnb with underground caverns, and the underground caverns there's like hidden rooms, and they eat people, and it's really scary. Anyway, so the movie happens. The owner of the Airbnb happens to come back and doesn't know that these caverns exist. Okay.
Okay.
So he finds the trap door, and these caverns open, and you're like, oh my god, things are gonna go crazy. And he goes, oh my God. And then it hard cuts to him with a tape measure, and he's adding the square footage to the house. It's the greatest moment, dude.
That's great.
It's so genius.
Could you do this as an actual, like,
It's so
this would be
good.
such a, could it be done where you shoot an actual
That would be
Yes.
horror movie that's a real
Yes.
scary horror movie, but simultaneously
that's what you should do.
shooting a
would
documentary
work.
about how funny it is to
Dude,
do this.
that's what
That's
we
what
should
you
do.
should
It's a
It would
great
work.
idea.
It would work.
It would definitely work because every time I'm on one of these, I'm just looking, going, "Well, the movie is going to be shit."
It should be in
behind the
it should
scenes
be,
is brilliant.
It should be
Can you do both well?
in die.
Ooh.
In die.
I don't know. Could you do it both well? Could you? And you show it back to back. So the first night you
That would be
show
unbelievable.
the actual movie
Yeah, the
that
horror
turns out
movie.
that you did a good
You could
horror
pull that
movie.
off?
and then
If
the
you
next
could pull it
night,
off, it'd be friggin' awesome.
It would be. It would. You talk about something that would kind of change filmmaking because it really would. It'd be like I shot two
You're
movies
right.
at the same time,
So
about the same thing, but one of them is behind the scenes of shooting the first movie.
Is
which
it-
turned out to be
what
a
if
good
you
movie.
do
arguing
Brian-
about the blood.
well, what if you do
Like the real blood is there, and you're arguing. The
What if
argument
you-
normally, it doesn't look like that. It's not blood. I need it thicker. Blood doesn't melt like that.
What
you
if
know
you
what I
do
mean? What's blood supposed to melt like?
a grind? Is it
too?
too? Is it too out there to do like a grindhouse type of thing with the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, where you do like an hour and 15-minute horror movie,
could.
and then you do the fill the 95 or the 2.5 hours. You do the other half to show the
That
making
could be
of.
interesting as well.
It could be a really interesting because again,
Interesting,
could
yeah.
you make two good movies at the same time?
Oh,
It reminds me of that Halloween commercial. I forget what it was for, but remember they were trying to recreate like a I Know What You Did Last Summer, one of these
Right,
things.
right.
And the kids are running around this abandoned farm ground, remember? And
Oh, yeah.
the running cars over there, and they're like,
yeah.
the time behind all the time behind all the chainsaws.
Chainsaw.
What about the running car? And the guy goes, "Are you crazy?"
And even the murderer like
And the murderer looks at him, he pulls off the
it's
his sports
so
vest. He's like,
good. It's so good.
Yeah,
dude.
it's a great
he's sitting there
commercial.
ready to kill you idiots.
Yes.
I know.
brilliant.
It's
brilliant.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
So something like that,
Yeah.
where you have that scene, but the behind the scenes is that.
Yeah.
It'd
Yeah.
be
because
so
you'd be
funny.
interviewed, also be interviewed, and you'd have to get actors that would be okay,
Making fun of themselves.
and also getting shit talked about them.
Absolutely.
Because you'd want to interview the crew too, going like, "This guy's a diva."
You'd,
Yeah.
you actually
Now
want
let me-
that.
now let me
You
say
know,
this.
Oh
want
my God,
that.
we're
Now
good
let
at
me
this,
say
dude.
this:
You
you
want
probably have to say, okay, maybe you wouldn't tell them about the second movie that's being made. You're saying we're doing a whole bunch of BTS, and
It'd
you
be
put it in the
amazing. You hire
contract,
another crew. Oh my
and you,
god,
you probably wouldn't be able. You wouldn't
dude,
be able to tell.
that is
everybody.
so funny.
And you just
then,
keep everyone
and then
mind.
you
Never
have
been done before.
all,
Dude, it's
all
so
the
good.
time.
And then you have like the exec talking about you have an interview with him, like talking about how he's making two movies at once, and he's
Yeah.
like, "This movie's such a piece of shit
my
that I
God.
need." You know what I mean? Like, I knew
You'd
this
have
movie
to
was going
start
to
the
fail.
first movie early. You'd have to start the first movie with essentially going and pitching the horror film.
Yes,
Dude,
So
Dude,
Exactly
there is
right,
so
dude.
much comedy. First of all,
I actually really like
I was
it.
working with a director once, okay, and
Really
it was
like it.
raining, and it was all this thundering, and they had all this lightning, and they were pumping in all this water, and he had no earphones, and
Wait a
he's
minute.
sitting there.
What about?
and he's
Wait,
sitting-
what did I ask you? I was like, "What about your microphones?"
What? Yeah, hold on. So we're sitting there the
There's
whole
no
time.
audio.
The whole the whole
my
time. No, and he's
gosh.
there, and he goes, "Are we good? Are we good?" I'm not gonna do exact impression, but he goes, "Are we good? Are we good? Are we good?" And I'm like, we're in these tanks and all this water. He's like, "We good? We good? We good? We good?" And they're
You
like,
can't
he's
hear
like,
anything.
All right, moving on.
What?
On. He heard nothing. Saw nothing. Monitors were out.
Oh my gosh.
He turns to people. He goes, we got to move.
We got it.
We got it. We got to move. Yeah. And he did that a lot.
Okay, I've got a really funny experience. So there's this big scene that is trying to be shot, and they shoot a master. And they're like, we don't know about that master. So they shoot another master. And they're like, oh, we're running out of time. We got to move into coverage. So they're trying to move into coverage. Let's just do a oneer. And they do a oneer. Now, if you know about a oneer, you can't use any of the previous shots. And same thing. They never saw the oneer. Who knows if that oneer's going to work?
Oh my God. I
don't know.
I wrote like
the best.
I wrote like
8 hours.
There you go. a terrible script that but the idea is great. Called The Last Great American Western because I made a Hallmark Western and I wrote the movie about making the Western.
Great idea.
Because it was within like the first take they had a stampede and the director was an older stunt coordinator for John Wayne, the director of this Hallmark movie. And they had all these cows and we're in like Simi Valley.
You remember the horse-drawn carriage guy in Maverick?
Yeah,
where he's like,
dude.
Like, what's the matter with you? Halfway through, he just dies.
He was a very older, tough, crotchety guy.
Oh God!
I was
Jack Palance.
Yeah, it is. No, dude, it is Jack Palance, bro. Okay, so wait. Okay, so two stories. One, Curly. This is the worst. Okay, this is the worst day of my. This is honestly one of the worst.
Remember that he just died.
Hold on, that was so good. Yeah, Curly's going. Yeah. All right,
The man ate bacon at every meal. You can't do that.
Dude,
City
what about number
Slickers?
2, whatever hell this is, and gold. Let's go get it.
Curly had a cousin?
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Oh God!
Cousin.
Finish your story.
Okay, two stories real quick. One, this is like the worst moment of my career, honestly. I was like 18 or 19. No, I was probably in my early 20s. I was fucking around though, and I got a call at like 8:30 saying, Andy, and I'm roll over in my bed and it was like, Andy, where are you? We're ready for you on set. And I had an 8 o'clock call time in Simi Valley.
Oh God!
And it's 8:30 and I'm in my bed.
Oh
dude.
no!
What happened?
I overslept.
I was up reading.
Yeah, I was
up reading War and Peace.
Exactly. I was up reading.
I love that book.
Yeah.
I was up reading.
It was the third time I read it.
late-
Andy, you're lying.
Exactly.
I love War and Peace. I was reading.
Exactly. I don't know what happened. It was stupid. I was really irresponsible then. Never in my life have I ever done this again. I learned a huge lesson. So
Yeah.
I'm racing there and there's only one way into the location because we're filming in like
Is this
a giant,
the Western?
Yeah, a giant
Okay.
field in Simi.
Oh, no.
So they have to, and they're like moving stuff around because I'm an hour and a half late. So they're like, well, we'll shoot outside. So there's one road in, and of course they are shooting, so they have to yell cut, and I have to drive by, and the dust trail of my car has to settle. And I hear the director, like I'm walking now, like going to set rehearsal, and I hear the director like having a conversation with one of the actors and the stuntman, and he's going, "Just hit him for real." I swear to God. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yes, dude, so I'm an hour and a half late. And I'm like, oh my God.
You guys talking about me?
This is the end of my life. This is the end of my life. So anyway, I know he was telling the other actor to hit the stunt guy, like really punch him.
Punch him.
Yeah, he was like, really throw a
You just
punch.
sounded like Nick Nolte.
That's kind of what it was.
Oh my God.
So okay, so the other stuff that was the first,
in the leg.
that'll set up this next story. So the next scene there was supposed to be some herds of cattle, and they set them up and they set up Video Village, which is where the producers and the directors hide behind the monitor and watch things happen. So they're in there. He's in his director's chair, and there's like cut, and they fire a gun, action. And
He fires a gun to call action?
There's a starter pistol, yes, because
my
really
God.
far. He has a starter pistol.
Oh my God.
But it scares.
Bullet goes up?
Yeah.
It just-
No, it doesn't fire real bullets. It's just a starter.
I
It's like a
know.
cap
Yeah,
gun, which
yeah.
it's very dangerous. They wouldn't do this now.
Very
anyway,
dangerous,
So,
yeah.
but it startles the cattle.
Oh gosh.
And I'm not kidding. They turn and run towards Video Village. And he goes, wait a minute. We got to move. And this old dude, they take out Video Village.
Oh my God.
Everything.
Did they
The
really?
tent, the monitors, the chairs, boom. They never got back like 4 or 5 cattle. They're just roaming. They never got back.
wild
They're
and
still
Simi
so-
Valley today.
Yeah, they never got them back.
Oh my
They
God,
So
they're
I
on
was
Magic
like,
Mountain.
So I was exactly right.
Oh,
So I was like, this
God.
has to be a movie. So Last Great American Western.
Did you
It's
often,
coming.
if you were ever late, give strange excuses? Because you know who else used to do that is that guy.
Oh.
Oh, on board. My favorite one ever. Oh, buddy. A bee flew in my car.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I was driving.
That
I
was
driving,
true. Oh my
driving down
God.
the street
That
and a
one
bee
was
flew-
true. That is pathetic.
No, that one was true.
Dude, that
okay,
is
it's so funny. I was going to bring
We
this
still
up.
give him shit about it.
Wait a
A bee
minute.
flew in my car.
That is
and-
so pathetic.
That one was true.
I think it was a killer.
What
bee.
wasn't true? No. honestly, no, I don't know if it flew if it was in my car.
I gotta pull over.
It's an African wasp.
But I actually like tail-ended somebody because of the bee in my car. And I had to wait for the cop.
So
Anyway,
basically what he's saying is he's going to take this one to the grave.
no, that one was real. But I was funny. It's funny that Andy brought that up. 'Cause I was going to say my worst late story was on Boy Meets World.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know what was wrong with
I
me.
was reading War and
Again,
Peace.
I would
That
never.
was his excuse.
I
You
would
can't
never
read
do
War and
this. I would
Peace.
never. I can't believe this. And I
We had a book club. It was the thing.
I read it. He read it. He
we
read it,
worked
I
in the
read it.
morning. I had like maybe a couple hours off. So
Yeah,
I
which
just-
was normal. We would have
Right.
time
And then
off
we
in the
had
middle
the
of the day.
run-through.
Yeah.
I decided to go home and go to sleep.
What? Like you do at work.
Why would you do that?
Why would you just not go to your dressing room,
I
which is
w-
bigger than mine?
I just feel like everything like that, you can react like Seinfeld.
Why
Would you go to sleep?
What's the
in the middle of the day?
I
That makes
don't
no sense.
know. I don't know what the heck was going on. I don't know why I thought that was
Did you
reasonable.
miss run through?
Oh yeah, but
Really? Why do I not remember you missing run through?
I'm sure they
Oh, boy.
they covered for me in some way or something.
Wow.
But
I would nap, but
that
in
was
my
the
dressing
worst.
room, yeah.
I don't know why I
Dude,
didn't
that
do
is
that.
so
Well,
insane.
because yours was so spacious. He came in and got a bigger dressing room than mine right
No,
away.
he didn't.
Right
That
away.
was luck. That
right
was
away.
luck.
Right away.
It was
and
luck.
I mean, like,
It was in his contract.
First of all, for the record, I never was for the last 2 seasons, I never cared about my dressing room. I was never in it. I never looked at it. But then Matt walks me in his like, hey, why don't you come check it out? I was like, hey, oh my God, you're in a palace. Like, what the hell's going on here?
What?
I got
the hell?
I got lucky. I think you know what it was.
I got
You know what
lucky.
it was. You know
You
what it was.
don't have a pinball machine? A
Yeah,
fountain in
seriously.
your
It's
room?
like, I know. Isn't the second hot tub a little too much?
These were in here. I don't even know
I'm
what
going to do a quick 30 on the treadmill.
No, you know what it was. I know what it was. No, I know what it was. I know what it was.
Like silver spoons in there. It's
I
like
know what it was. I had one. I had
better
one
contract than
weird.
us.
I had one weird thing, and that was I was very particular about having to use a public restroom. Very particular.
Oh, so you had your.
So
I think we all had our own bathroom.
We did, but there was the first one there.
set
Do you
was
remember
this?
where they had
The whole crew
there was
shared
like
one
a-
bathroom? What
No,
do you
no, no.
We had a porta potty.
There was there was a men's and women's room on each level, and then there were just rooms. Do you remember
Was
that?
it?
Yes.
Was that at Disney?
Yes.
Oh, so that was the last season.
Yes.
Okay.
So I still
Really?
had it in my contract that I had at my own. So on yes, I got a bigger room
Okay.
with a bathroom.
In his own bathroom.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah,
fucked
we
up.
all used
I
your
think it was in my
bathroom
deal.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
knowing-
the public bathroom by that point. By the time
I was so weird about that. I was really
Matt in there?
really,
Messed up.
really
This
weird.
bathroom.
Now I literally
Destroyed this place.
I literally could piss on a tree. In fact, I usually do.
He's pooped in his pants. He said it every
Yeah,
time.
he's got
He
weird.
tells stories. And you watch the pod. I'm not saying anything you haven't already
It's
said.
true.
Thanks
He's
for
got
bringing that back up.
he's got
You
some
brought it up to
issues.
begin with.
No,
Joe.
I
Yes, you
brought up you
did.
pooping in your pants.
No,
You did.
actually, no, you definitely.
Mr. Poopy Pants.
This is the fun part of being
My
on a
favorite
podcast
line-
with brothers.
My favorite line from Naked Gun is I think we can all act like mature adults here, isn't that right, Mr. Poopy Pants?
Poopy
You know another one I saw? I don't think it's from Naked Gun, but I saw this where he's
Oh,
like,
God.
your dog has a weird look on his face.
Oh my God.
And she goes,
That's because you're looking at his ass.
And she goes, he's not going to enjoy that treat I just showed him.
That is Leslie Nielsen. It's from like another
movie. He
but
was
I
so
also
good at those.
the best Naked Gun whatever is the money one where he's like, oh really? Well maybe this
my
can
God.
draw your memory.
yeah.
What do you look like?
Shaking
Yeah,
down
he's-
his hand.
Which, by the way, is an iteration of the Three Stooges who used to do that beat. Hey, I'll give you $10. You give me $10. You owe me $10. And you know.
Well, if you watch from the Files of Police Squad, which is what it's
Yeah.
based
Of
on.
course,
yes. Of course.
So that's my favorite. Is who are you? How'd you get in here? I'm the locksmith, and I'm the locksmith.
Good.
Great.
So good, dude.
Classically trained Shakespearean actor.
Dude,
Really?
dude.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, oh,
Oh yeah, he
dude.
was
I mean,
Leslie
Leslie Nielsen
drama.
was a genius.
Before
His
he-
turn even
yeah.
in Airplane, which
Oh.
is like,
How they
surely you
did
can't be
Airplane?
serious. Of course I'm serious, and don't call me
And
Shirley. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable.
No, I don't.
How they did Airplane is one of the most brilliant things in the world. They went and they bought a real script for a real movie that had already been shot, and then they just added the ridiculous comedy beats.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of
that's
that
what I
stuff
wanna
is all
do.
from a real movie.
Wait a
That's
minute.
it was called Airport 76, I think, something like that. But
That's what I want to do.
so they just added all the beats so
Really
that, hey,
interesting.
we just want to tell you all good luck. We're all counting on you. That was real. Then they added 5 more because that's the comedy.
That's Dr. Dogman.
Yeah, there.
We got to take the fugitive.
How would they line up?
Why
When they line up to
I
kick
don't
the
know.
crap out of this lady?
When she's having the panic attack and they're lining up to beat, here, let me have a minute. Hold on.
That pan, the guy with the baseball. You're like, oh my God.
It's such a good movie. It's
It is so good.
It's such a good
Oh
movie. She
my
speaks
God.
jive and
Oh my gosh.
Great
such a good
stuff.
movie.
Oh, it is so ridiculous.
Man,
He's
perfect
telling his
comedy.
stories, and then the guy hangs him. The lady
Yeah,
hangs
it does.
his
Oh,
old,
gosh.
these
The drinking problem is just he can't. brilliant.
It is brilliant.
Yeah,
it is
just
so
such good
brilliant.
stuff.
Oh, this is really off subject, but
You know,
did
they're
you
remaking Naked Gun with Liam Neeson.
Which
You
could
know
work.
that? I don't know. It could.
have you
It
seen
could be
his?
funny.
He's
I don't
got
know,
some
man.
funny
Just
skits.
Leave.
I know.
alone.
I know. You can't honestly. Yeah,
Make
you
new stuff.
you
Can we
can't.
make new stuff? I
Make
know,
new
man.
stuff.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
As we're all telling everybody, bring back sitcoms.
I
But
know.
the original
sitcom.
New
Bring back-
sitcom. No,
I know.
no, actually,
I'm just kidding.
It's
I'm just
this
kidding.
is the
I
right
know.
train of
I know.
thought. It's that
I know.
nostalgia
Yeah.
No,
that
it's
we're
true.
talking about.
You know, that actually that proves the point. You don't
Yeah.
want to remake Friends.
No.
you want to like you know you want to
No.
do something else.
Exactly.
And honestly, it's those family comedies. It's Family Ties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different strokes.
It's
all
Cheers.
that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I love Cheers.
I love Cheers.
I love
Yeah,
Cheers
it's a great
too.
one,
I know
too.
it is. It's just not a
Cheers
family.
has arguably the greatest sitcom moment ever on television, and it's in the pilot.
Okay.
And it's the phone rings, and Coach picks up the phone, and he says,
Before Woody Harrelson.
before
Coach.
Woody Harrelson,
Yeah.
he picks up the phone and he goes, "Cheers." Hang on, let me check. Ernie Pantuso, that's you, Coach. Speaking. It's one of the greatest moments. He's just
Genius.
deadpan the whole time.
Genius.
It is.
Well,
such a brilliant
that
stuff
show
like
too
that.
launched. I think the Frasier character, which is
Yes,
the
it did,
longest
yeah, of
running. I think that holds the title for the
And Frasier's
longest.
coming back.
I know
It's back.
It already is
now.
back.
It is back?
Now. I don't
It
know
is
if people
back.
are watching it,
Yeah,
but it's
I
back.
don't either.
Oh,
It's like They brought back Mad About You.
Again.
Frasier.
Guys,
But they're not doing it in front of a live. I don't think
new
they're doing it in front of,
stuff.
like,
New
I don't
stuff.
know. I know. I agree.
and they're not doing it the right way. And
Yeah.
Did you say your dog was raised in a penitentiary?
I did. Yes, my dog was. Yeah, my dog.
What a segue.
I just was thinking.
Speaking
about
of
it.
Frasier, did you say your dog was raised in a penitentiary?
I did. My dog Sammy was. There's an incredible program called Pause for Life where they take puppies and they put them with incarcerated prisoners who train them for like 8 hours a day.
Amazing.
And so she was in there for 8 weeks and came out. We had to teach her to be a puppy again. She was so well trained.
I don't know why, but I just. What if your dog like tries to rob people when you're not looking?
She picked up all the wrongs. They taught her all the wrong stuff.
They would never. Actually,
Hold
my
on.
wife was
Don't drop a bar of soap
bawling.
around that dog. Let me
This
tell you.
dog-
Oh my god.
This dog was amazing. She potty trained. She doesn't get on the couch. However,
She'll
don't
rob
forget
ya.
her, she shanked me. The kibble.
I don't know why.
No,
I
it's
just-
actually it's
No,
actually
that's
that is
amazing.
no, it's
you know,
that's
and it's
amazing.
super
badass.
cool.
It's great.
Actually, what the animals also give the prisoners.
Absolutely.
Well,
that's so you get letters from everybody that trained the dog, and all of them basically said the same thing. Said a lot of the reasons that we're in here. I know where Andy's mind
my
goes.
gosh.
Really?
One of the letters is, oh, look at this letter. I'm coming for you.
I'm gonna get my damn dog back.
Oh, come on.
God!
What's your what's your dog's name?
Sammy.
Sammy's mine.
Signed by John Wick.
I'm up for parole in 6 months. Watch out, Will Friedle. I'm coming for you.
I know where my
Telling you,
dog is.
It is a great,
No,
great
it does
program.
sound good.
Yeah,
That
no,
does
it's a
sound
great
good.
Dude,
program.
honestly,
I'm
that's
evil.
amazing.
I'm evil.
And
That's
so they
amazing.
all said the same things. The prisoners like, we're all here because we have a problem with patience. Like we can't.
Wow.
We have no impulse control, and
Wow.
the training an animal teaches you patience.
It
and
totally
impulse-
does.
Impulse control. So.
It's that's
And
totally does.
unconditional love,
Yep.
which they probably haven't had in a
Yeah,
long
you're
time.
right. No, it'll
If ever.
reshape, it'll
Yeah.
remold. It really
So
is. That is a beautiful thing.
Apparently, it's the program in California with the lowest recidivism rate of any criminal. Is
you go.
they come out because they have jobs when they come out working at the Pause for Life.
There you
facility.
go.
That makes perfect
yeah.
sense. That's brilliant. You look at all these problems that we're having. It's so crazy because all the problems that we're having, there are solutions
Yeah.
that are very easy.
Yeah.
They're
I know.
very crystal clear and
Yeah.
they're right in front of us. And the politics behind all of it
Sure.
screws up these solutions, which are very easy to solve.
And I gotta say that
Yeah.
I
I feel like
genuinely,
most of us go,
I genuinely
easy to solve,
believe
yeah.
that there aren't any bad dogs out there. There's only bad people and how they were raised.
100%.
And I've seen like these bans on certain
Pit
pit bulls
bulls.
and stuff. And honestly, it's ridiculous. It's
ridiculous. Yeah,
it makes me
it's-
really upset.
kitties are amazing.
To bring it
Some
back,
of the sweetest
some of
dogs
the
I've ever
sweetest
met when
dogs,
raised,
so
right?
intelligent, so loyal. But to bring it back to the program too, one of our good buddies, Emilio, who was a tough dude, a really tough
Oh, that's
dude,
right.
basically said that like the love of a dog reformed his whole
Yeah,
outlook on
saved
life.
his whole life.
Yep.
Saved his whole life.
Every human being needs purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what
man.
it is. And when you're in prison, I would imagine when you come out and you're
Do you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I have no idea. But
It's okay. Nobody's listening.
They come and hook him back up and take him away.
and that's why it's been great
Yeah.
talking to you guys.
All right, no, he's itching his ankle. The camera pans down to the little
I
gotta
gotta
go.
go.
It's beeping.
I usually only get about 45 minutes until they show up.
They love doing you
yeah.
guys, though.
I have to imagine though that being dropped off after doing a prison stint with $5 in your pocket and no purpose leaves you with
Dude.
nothing.
I know, man.
So if
Yeah,
you've
that's
got some
crazy,
sort of
bro.
focus, that's
Brilliant.
Again, I don't know anything about the prison system, but I have to imagine you want to get out with some skill and something
Heck
to
yeah,
do.
man.
And the love. That's
and
the
the love.
thing.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what this program's amazing. Actually,
That is
so Pause
so
for Life.
cool.
You're looking at and you can
Pause for Life.
if you get one of the dogs, you go there and you go to Pause for Life. You can adopt the dog. You can then decide whether you want to put them in the program or not.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's not always they don't just come automatically from the program. You bring them there, and then the facility, which is amazing, is they just have unlimited classes for free whenever you want, and your dog doesn't have to be part of the program. So if you wanted to bring your dog to
Ooh,
do a
cool.
sit class, a stay class, a walk class, anything, you got to book early. But they're a really great
But
program.
your
That's
dog
awesome,
knew how
man.
to do all that.
To the point where we had to be like, it's okay for you to be a dog and play. And
Wow.
I mean, she was robotic to the point where we'd be walking down the street, and the second you stop, she auto sits. And so it's like, it's great, but I mean, she'd go right into her crate.
Can they
She's
do that
spending
with
time-
kids?
You can, I don't know.
You just drop them off.
Get your kids late. That's what I did. My kid officially became my kid when she was like 20. I knew her since she was 11.
Wow.
That's the easiest way to do it. I always say
Wow.
parenting's so easy. My kid came with her own apartment and a 401k.
Wow.
Super simple to
pretty
be a
good.
parent.
I
understand
didn't have
what
one of
people
those.
Are, yeah,
That's
people are
crazy.
complaining about.
That's
Said it right.
crazy. Wow. Yeah, that is awesome. That is
Guys,
Guys,
I can't
I mean,
believe it.
we've
I
gone-
know.
Way over time. We're gonna
Yes.
have to like do a part 2 or something, dude. You gotta
Sweet.
come back. 'Cause we didn't even get to talk about our time in Canada. And we got to do that movie
God,
together.
We did HE double hockey.
It was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Well, I started a new podcast that just launched
yes.
yesterday.
Get this in.
And you're gonna have to come in. And
I'm in.
You're gonna have to come in.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a decom?
Yeah, I've done Disney.
Okay, so then you're gonna have to.
Oh
go-
yeah,
We all did
Horse
Horse
and Jumping Ship.
Okay,
together,
good.
What's
yeah.
it called?
It's called Magical Rewind.
We're
and
all gonna be on it.
You're gonna
How
be
about
on
that?
it.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
Sabrina
Do you guys
Ryan from
rewatch-
the Cheetah
do you
Girls and
rewatch
I, we
decoms?
rewatched. We're
Dude, I
watching
did
all the
5 of
decoms.
them.
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Andy was the decom.
I was a
king.
decom king. at
So
one
you're gonna
point.
have to come out. We just launched our first one was Wonderful World. We're doing
Amazing.
Wonderful World.
Andy
of
was
Disney's
nominated for an
and decom.
Emmy off of a decom.
I was.
Literally.
and come
he played
and
a
be-
blind wrestler. No
Did you?
joke.
Yeah.
Yes, in Going to the Mat.
Yeah,
nominated
it's
for an
true.
Emmy.
There you go.
Yes.
You're gonna have to come.
All right.
And
Okay,
all of
and-
you are gonna have to come on.
And honestly, our Jumping Ship and our Horse Sense movie, like literally reframed the Disney Channel.
Before it was before High School Musical and Camp
Yeah,
Rock and
it's
all
true.
that, but that was the #1 rated Disney Channel movie for a long time.
Oh, well,
That's
yes,
sick.
Yeah,
Yes.
for a long time.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have to come on and do because
Love
we're watching
to,
them all.
man.
So you're gonna have to
Let's
come
do
on
it.
and
Yeah.
watch
And
the movies with
extras,
us.
those are stills from Jumping Ship of Disney
Yes, behind
decoms
it over there.
That's a still of Joe in his Chippendales
That's
uniform
a horrible
up there.
still. I hate that picture. I don't know why you
Also,
guys put it
too,
up there.
I gotta give a shout out to the Boy Meets World crew with your other podcast.
dude.
Yeah,
It's
Pod
just
Meets
so
World.
awesome. I
Yeah,
was
we're
on it
doing
once.
well.
Check that out.
You're coming back too.
You
You
can't
also
wait.
do live shows with us.
Can't
So
wait.
there
Yeah, I
you
know,
go.
dude. That was fun. We went to Philly together, my
Yeah.
hometown.
Yeah, it's
super
fun.
cool, dude. We
Are
had a
you guys
blast.
doing 90s Con this year?
I don't know. I don't think
I
we're
don't
doing
know,
90s
man.
con.
I don't know why they don't.
We're gonna be doing. We're gonna be because I think we're testing out live. We're finally testing out this show.
Oh, good.
Live with another con. I think it conflicts.
Oh wait, are you in Raleigh?
Richmond.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same weekend.
It's the same weekend.
Oh, gotcha.
And because we already booked the live, we're like, we gotta.
No.
stick with
You got
this.
the live shows are so much fun.
Yeah, dude.
We
You
can't
get
wait.
the feel of that
I
sitcom.
know,
a little
I
bit
know.
back. Yeah,
I
which
know.
is a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So obviously now you got 2 podcasts to watch with this guy on, and 3 including this one.
And we'll
Guys,
develop a half-hour comedy
Hey,
Yes.
for television
Dude,
and
yes.
take
we really
over
should.
the broad. We need to do that.
Nostalgia.
Do you know how many years there are here?
Can you imagine us? Oh
First
God,
of all,
dude.
I've been doing this 43 years,
Yeah.
right? So I know you've been doing it what 40 years.
Yeah.
You're there almost. You're at 32 years. How many years you been doing it? Almost.
37.
Yeah, I mean, guys,
Yeah.
we
We got a lot of
we have
experience in this
hundreds of
room.
years.
If
the four of us, if the four of us can't come up with a good half-hour comedy,
Man.
and put it on the air. I mean, honestly, like who else can do
I think
that?
we should come up with a bunch of them.
That's
I,
what we
I,
should
I
do.
totally.
I think we should get all of our friends, and I
Honestly-
think we should put out 5 different sitcoms.
Why don't we do
Dude,
that?
Let's do
Do
a
it.
TGIF lineup again.
Dude,
kind of
lit.
thing.
guys, done.
Let's do that.
I'm down.
I think we
Let's
should.
do it.
Yeah.
What
Would
a
you guys
great-
be into that? Let us
great
know.
episode.
God bless everybody. Have a beautiful weekend.
Thank
See
you.
next time on the
Everybody.
Brotherly Love
Thank
Pod.
you very
Will
much.
Friedle, everybody
Coming to
in
the
the
Pocket
house.
Pod.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you
Bye.
later.
See you
Joe
next
didn't
Friday.
hate me. I found that out today. which
I
is good.
didn't. I love you.
I love you, man. Awesome.
Hey, what's up, everybody? The
Lawrence brothers are here.
Thank you so much for enjoying this week's episode of the Brotherly Love Pod.
And if you want more of this show, check out our premium feed on Supercast.
That's right, where you'll see ad-free episodes, monthly AMAs, behind-the-scene content, and so much more.
That's brotherlylove.supercast.com to join.
Check out our link tree and subscribe on all platforms.
We'll see you all
Next week.